tell us about the first game they played, because that wasn't bloody close at all.
Well, let's see whether this one is close. The votes are in. 60% of the people think that Prospects are going to take this best of three.
That's
Dwayne,
reasonable.
you gave the Finns the opportunity to sort of sway the vote a little bit and give that fan base. And look, they got a decent chunk.
Yeah.
It's not clear-cut. It's not like one team has complete favoritism. And certainly, like any match in CS, anything can happen in the next few hours. Pistol round of the first map-up in our semi-final series between Prospects and ENCE Academy. ENCE on the CT side start of Ancient, and Henu is creeping close to first contact.
Just a B-stack coming through here from ENCE Academy, having a single spotter set up out there from server in mid. Henu thinking about getting aggressive out here from Cheetah.
Quick up from Rolf, his Glock pulled out, trying to tap his way forward past those smokes, doing a little bit of damage, but it's Hype that picks up Henu to kick things off. Nice start on the opener. Rolf does get his kill through smoke in the end as Miltsy ends up dropping. Poddy's waiting. The bomber's gone down. It's a 5-on-3.
Oh, this is such a difficult retake. Even a height advantage out here to the cave position. And look at Hype. He's mid-rounding coming through on a backstab.
Slow pushes back, going to keep ENCE suppressed and eventually closing the pincers against all three of these remaining players. It's only a matter of time. They've got to act now, and then they've got to act against the backstab, and Spook's not done. He gets Silver. Poddy gets one to return, and finally Hype can strike. One tap to the head. Juicy falls the same, and the Prospects continue the Hype train from the quarterfinals into the pistol.
And there we go. Hype putting in a very good effort there. But I think it just comes down from the straight ENCE. I mean, you've got to consider the idea that that was a B stack. They had 4 players out there on B. And one thing that we noticed from Prospects and Masonic in both of their opening games in the quarterfinals was how many late lurks there were, how many late round situations there were on backstabs, on T-sides. And you could just see that from Hype. He was so confident that they've locked down the bomb site and it wasn't going to be a quick retake. That, yeah, I can come in from mid-late.
If ENCE haven't covered off those particular angles of attack, then that's going to become a major concern as this one rolls on. In the pistol, given that retake scenario, you could understand why it happened with all their forces focused towards the back lanes, but I mean, you can already see it here on the A site. No real defensive, a lot of focus. It is a force buy round, so forgive it some to try and focus the pistols in terms of some common angles of attack, but that bomb's going to get planted on A for free.
This round's done. There's really nothing here for ENCE Academy at all, unless they deal with these 2 mid players without losing any deaths. Because they've had more of a gamble out towards B, they've been completely unsuccessful.
There's Hype on Juicy. Frag found. Start out. AK just trying to prod around that corner to catch off Miltsy and co. Rolfs. AK sets his server, and server does get a kill to return, so at least some sort of exit for the ENCE Academy side, and AK can be held into the round. Escape back towards top mid, ensure that he doesn't fall down to the likes of Bobek, who's actually making his way in very quickly. Hype has caught server meanwhile, and knife! Knife in the semis!
There we go.
There we go. I haven't seen one at all so far this tournament, but here we are, standing with one to our names. Poddy now just trying to see if he can stay alive, get a rifle out of the hands of the T's if possible, but ultimately unsuccessful. 2-0 start for the Prospects.
You've got to try and temper the mental of your opponents ever so slightly. Bobek realizes he's got Pika's advantage there. He's from behind. It makes so much sense to try and get the extra cash injection.
Money, money, money with the Mac 10 kill as well.
He can even drop it off to Hype now, can't he?
Yep. Very early days for the money state of the Prospects side. They are going to stick with what seems to just be the Mac 10 bonus, the Galil's coming out, so they won't commit to the AWP just yet. Mostly because there's eco pistols out for the ENCE side. So I guess it makes sense. You get the Mac 10 forward,
yeah.
You get the headshots easy, you get the money together. And there's no need to upgrade the Galils when they're fine for now. Maybe in the next round, maybe when you go down. Either way, this should be a simple 3-0 start for the Prospects boys.
Statistically, Henu is actually the best performer for ENCE Academy when it comes to Ancient. Over the past 6 maps played, he averages a 1.27 rating. So watch out for Henu and what he's going to be able to do. Even though he might not be our go-to player to always keep an eye out for, it seems like there is a common gift of success with him on Ancient.
Just 1 kill on the CT board for now. Prospects just being wary in case there are some sneaky beaky pistols involved. There are upgrades. There's a Deagle and a 5.7 at least. Bobek's been seen out towards that mid position, so that's the information combo from the CT side. The bomb, however, will get planted. No resistance from the CT forces. Juice has been seen carrying nicely red there, but Bobek Mac 10 burst through to the 5-on-3 situation. And Dwayne as well, by the way. I have it on good authority that it's Bobek's D.
His name's Bobek, though.
But Spook told me it was Bob XD.
Come on, Bobby. What are you doing to me, fella?
Take it up with the team.
Do you know what? I'll make sure that I come back tomorrow with some proper answers. I'm going to get it from the man himself.
I've got proper answers, dude. I did the interview earlier today. Like, again, keep your eyes on the social media channels.
Well, do you know what? I spoke to Anle, actually, a few days ago, and I did ask him. And he's like, a lot of people say Anlele, but it's actually Anlelele. And I was like, no one's going to say that. Come on, bro.
I'm not saying Anlele.
No, not a chance. Not a chance.
It takes up too much time in a call.
Yeah, I even asked him, why is there so many L&Es? And he just says, the more the better. I mean, how could that be possible?
It's like Michael
It is similar.
Tech pause, it seems, for ENCE Academy at the moment.
Well, here's an opportunity to talk about MistGames, because I think he's a guy that out in Ancient, you'll see him towards Candles, that red area, and outside of Donut on the CT line, and always trying to take a lot of space on T side, getting up top lane, trying to fight into that cheater position. I've been a big fan of MistGames on LAN, and I think the tall fella is going to be able to prove it in this kind of a game, because you're going into a map that's very solid, and the only way that you can seriously keep Ancient competitive, let alone steal it, is if you have a very good performance.
And again, we're sort of talking him up as one of the key players that's going to bring some international spice to what is otherwise a national Finnish roster. Again, he has that experience during the like enterprise sort of like, is it Southeast Europe? Is that what we call it? Like,
well, it's a European mix, wasn't it? I mean, you got your Czech Republic people in there, but they're speaking English, so
yeah. But that general sort of region of the world, right? Like the tip sports and all those sort of like events within that.
The Czechoslovakia region. It's normally what I go with.
Okay. I mean, Czechoslovakia doesn't exist anymore.
No, it doesn't. But it's Czech and it's Slovakia.
I mean, I'll give you that as like a genuine, like, you know, layman's.
Kind of in the middle there.
But I hope everybody at home understands exactly where we're talking about in that sense. Again, he's
I think they know by now.
He's got that experience, okay, and he's going to be an important player as a result of that. We are facing some issues with Juicy's PC at the moment.
Not so good. No, I was a bit surprised about Juicy, because obviously being a Finn, I thought he'd be loving the sauna and the water action. When he was jumping off the top of the sauna, it seemed like he didn't want to go back in, where the other boys were quite keen. I mean, understandably, it was cold.
That's, yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, he was the guy that was getting the water and chucking it on the hot rocks.
Ah, right.
Oh, do you know what? This could actually be something for everyone at home. We were trying to work out what is the translation for what I think is a stone heater. So for any of the Nordic people out there, at us, MistGames GG, let us know, what do you think the English translation would be for the sauna compartment that heats the sauna?
Right.
Because the Finns have a national word, the Norwegians have a national word, but no one's been able to find the English translation of it. Because it's not really a heater, but it's just hot stones. So, I don't know. I was thinking stone heater.
Maybe it's just hot stones.
Yeah, well, maybe. But then what's the compartment called that heats them?
I was never in like a true sauna. I was in one of those electric saunas.
Oh, yeah, the rubbish ones.
Yeah, they're pretty rubbish. Probably the reason why I don't like saunas, to be fair, actually.
Yeah, so let us know, because I'd love to know what the translation would be.
I'd love to know how this game's going to play out, though. And right now, we're ready to get back into it. Tech issues for Juicy resolved. We go to our fourth round. 3-0 currently for the Prospects. The first rifle buy inbound for the CT side. They've got the AWP for Polly. M4's across the board. Flash set ahead of those smokes. They gain all sorts of mid-control. Prospects won't challenge it. Milski's going to challenge lane, though, and he might be in for quite a number of picks. Backups there as well. The Prospects smartly backed away themselves.
He's got to deal with Spook, though. And when we look back at that Young Ninjas game, he was finding so much success up there from that lane portion. Henry spamming on the other side of the smoke. Spook is close behind it.
Miltzy also leaning in at the elbow entrance. Miltzy,
jeez.
Oh my lord, he's getting so aggressive, but it doesn't work out for him. You mentioned him wanting to push forward in certain capacities, and that was one of those right there. The opening frag does go the way of the Prospects, though. Spook could get caught off. He's tagged, but not dead.
And now just being spammed up, has to try and fall back, low HP. Now everybody else is regrouping towards A. This is a very good call here from 0-0 Prospects. They dealt with the mid player. Spook's been able to bring a distraction and more utility out towards lane. Now they could just go for a walkout A on a contact.
M4 server going to be the first mana portal call here in the Aiden site defensive. He sees one player crossing unawares to the boost out of trees. So there's one man again, hyper aggressive right now for the prospects. They have a control. They should be able to get the bomb down.
They've still got Spook as a late lurk out towards mid. I don't think ENCE go for this. Unless Potty gets a pick, they save.
They're prodding. Prospects are not biting though. Poddy's holding back. The mid-lurk's now going to try and make his way in towards the actual defensive line. Franson does get one before Juicy trades it, but that's still a 2-for-1 that overall favours the prospects here. Juicy leaning forward, hype on side. So he looks away the wrong moment. Poddy does catch Rolf, but the time is way too far tick. No kits in play. Henry's gone down, and Poddy's going to go for the save in the round, even being flanked out by the AK of Spook. There to close on the last. 4-0 start for prospects. It's very early doors, Blake, but it's looking just as confident as it was over in the quarterfinals.
I noticed a lot of hesitation in that round for ENCE Academy. That felt to me like half-hearted attempt. Maybe you get a pick and you go for it, but as soon as they got a 1-for-1 trade, you've got to be sending it. You've got to be impact immediately. And to me, that call needed to come in quicker, whether it was a full save or a full send, and they get caught in the middle, which ends up meaning that they lose the round and no one is able to save weapons.
Back to the basic pistols, upgrade pistols at least here for ENCE, but still a far cry from the AKs that we've got for the prospects camp. Confidence brimming on the T side already. Looking to make it 5-0 in the early portions of this game. And you are right, it was way too slow for ENCE to go for it. I mean, in the end, they didn't really have much of an option, as you mentioned, being a man down with that mid-lurk, so it would have made sense for the save. I don't think they had the information of that mid-play, though. Either way, they've got to live with it and live without anything that they saved from that previous round.
I mean, just knowing that Hype is 7-0, hasn't even got the AWP out yet. We've literally just seen him on a Galil or an AK. HE stack going out there towards the default position. No one playing out there. It was a nice attempt. Think about, as well, how many stacks we've seen from ENCE Academy and how many times prospects have just gone the complete opposite direction. We saw it on the pistol and the second round.
Well, eventually they do put their forces into that B side when they are still leaning forward. Again, Bobek going to lean in from the candles position. Got one player of Henu finally starts off the kill counts in the round. Double up, in fact, towards server. Now back up, holding the back lines, but unable to hold the bomb site. Bomb's gone down. And if a retake is on, it does feel like it's more exit frags than anything else. They do get one, so credit where it's due.
Joessi's going to try and open up another kill towards his long position. You've got Franson up close, Spook out there towards that cave position. Even Hype trying to deal with the CTs. Notice how he's not over-peaking entirely, just jiggling down. That AK gets dropped, but they've got players there to just try and cut off as much as they can. Rolf gets back down into position, but just misses the timing. So Potty gets an AK to be saved. It's okay for an eco.
I think Melty might also get another AK, so that might be even a little bit better. That said, though, Potty's about to get challenged. Holds his position, holds his nerve. In the end, they do not make their way back in towards spawn, so both of these AKs staying in for the CT forces. Again, not terrible. It was an eco.
I mean, one thing that we've got to remember is ENCE Academy came into the light of success through the MistGames circuit. Back in fall, it was actually their best placement in a while. All events before that, the best one was a 5th, 6th. So think about what the difference would have been, even dating back to last year, that you go from 5th, 6th all the way to 1st, get themselves an invited position to come here in the event.
Major opportunity.
Oh, this is proper quick.
Further than this, yep. Quick out of the gate for the prospects, charging their way into the A side. Smokes and flashes getting in the way of both sides. They can't see much. Bobek so far forward. Server here with AUG. Held back, trying to hunt for players, turning away from flashes, expecting there to be some. Will start to burn, and Franson heard it. Does get taken down. That's one pick, Hype with a responsive. And again, look how far forward Bobek has got. There's one player, a Potty with util in hand. His AWP about to get forced out here. This is an easy pick, and indeed it comes true.
And Milty's just got no idea what's going on. The bomb was still outside elbow. You had Spook late lurking out there from the lane position. Now Milty does get a returning kill, and now Spook's going to try and walk out B. He's got to try and get a good timing here onto Juessi.
Not caught looking the right way. M4 gets the kill. Advantage now for ENCE Academy. Hype leaning in. The AWP looking out towards the back of the site. Henu starting to prod. Miltz is going to check out the mid position. Rolf's going to have to secure this kill pretty quickly because MilTzy's unsupported at the moment with the utility being thrown out, the information getting the footsteps, but Rolf still can adjust towards it. 2-on-2, they have the bomb site, they have the bomb plant, but they don't have the man advantage, and Rolf has a borderline impossible clutch to make happen here, turns away at the wrong moment, and ENCE gets started.
Yeah, that was a really wild round there from Prospects. They send it for a very quick A-pop. They've got 3 players coming out of A-main, trying to take map control onto the site. They put pressure onto the server out there from that default position. Bobek even gets aggressive in from Temple, but the bomb was still outside of elbow. You still had Spook up there towards a lane position, so it might have told us in that angle that they wanted Spook to try and take some map control. Probably thought that Juicy would have over-rotated. When you think about how much utility actually went down to that A side, the fact that you've still got a B anchor there means that ENCE Academy had a read on the lurk.
Get themselves truly going now. First round of the board, rebuy coming in from Prospects. Orplus here, curious that they haven't actually taken the chance to get the big green out. They could have dropped it in France's part. Bobek finding MilTzy to kick things off, however, might not need the AWP at this stage. They will not be able to get the man advantage at least. Henu responding back. Spam from Spook eventually finds his man.
He did that so many times in the quarterfinals up against Young Ninjas. And there he's at it again. Now, for 0-0 Prospects, you can just freeze. There's heaps of time on the clock. You've got man advantage. Wait for info play. Wait for an overextension, which we're starting to see from Ram.
Prod forward. While he's in M4, looking up, he's seen Rolf. Caught him. 3-on-3. ENCE playing the trading game at the standard evens for now.
But think about that as an info play. You get aggressive, you deal with a B player, you don't see any more. They might end up rotating further players away from B, and this is going to turn into a B site EXE. Poddy is completely alone out here on B. He's going to smoke off that cave position. That's a long and short smoke being set up here from Prospects.
Well, setting them up, they might have to concede the bomb site and go for the retake here. The utility is telegraphing exactly what's going on. So second man on the way, third player prodding in from the donut angle. In the end, we'll just opt to go ahead and join his teammates in the back lanes. Oh, the flash is keeping Poddy at bay, so the bomb indeed will get planted.
And they've got another incendiary. It'd be nice to have a smoke down towards that cave position or from ramp to help them on the retake.
Position held. Gonna make a move, 2 kits in play for the CT, so time is a little bit lenient, but they gotta make action, and indeed they do. Server in particular with 2, 1 M4 kill, Franson burns to his Molotov, and now Spook in the 1-on-3, 34 HP, but 2 players are also tagged to similar or lower. Server in particular on the bomb, tapped, dealt with on the AK, but not Juicy on the defuse he'll hold, and onto the second for ENCE.
And Prospects find themselves in a position that rather than slowing it down, they actually want to try and take some fights. I mean, one thing you'll probably see in that 3v3, they actually don't have much map control. They haven't been able to take back cave. They weren't able to exploit short or long, so they end up finding themselves in a position where you're kind of caught on the site directly. You want to fight out there towards that short angle. Server ends up getting a multi-frag with that incendiary down towards default. And then for Spook, this is always going to be a tough clutch in a 1v3.
Getting into it as well, like hyping themselves up, bringing the noise, bringing the thunder, bringing the rounds.
Oh, look at this pause though from Franson.
Prospects in general bringing the money at the moment. Server and Poddy, that's a very good setup to counteract it. He was expecting aggression, they got aggression, sure, but they had that 2-man stagger to get the opening pick.
And now they're trying to get a contact out here from this angle position in there at Candles, and they get the opening pick. Bobek might get caught off from Henu if he keeps pushing forward, though.
Volley sending to his general direction. Henu wins that fight. Meanwhile, Server playing Ring of Roses with hype. He's got a HP advantage, and now he's got the bomb in a 4-on-2, making it 1 as Rolf drops and Spook is all that remains.
And that's a very tidy info play there coming through from the likes of Server. It's risky. You go out there and you lose the fight, you end up in a very different round. But it pays off in troves, and now Spook finds himself in yet another clutch situation, which is completely unwinnable.
Juicy there with the closer. Spook does get a kill from beyond the graves, so it makes it a little bit expensive, but nothing that should majorly affect ENCE Academy. Especially now that they've found their own 3 in a row, they're starting to counteract Prospects, and most crucially, Dweg, they've denied a bomb plant. The buys that we've been seeing from Prospects in the last few rounds have been down to the fact that they've gotten 2 plants in a row. Now they don't have that luxury anymore.
Now, Prospects, now they're going to start realizing we've got a fight on our hands. I mean, one thing that we definitely saw in that series against Young Ninjas is we didn't see much from Bobek. So to already see him up 11-5 tells us that he's getting more involvement when it comes to impact. From Prospects, though, they know that they've got more involvement up against them.
Flash in for Henny to check out lane. Saw Rolf. One of the 4 Tech 9s in play in this setup. One AK is in the hands of Franson, who's currently leading in towards Elbow. He's just going to keep himself at bay the same. Henry does not see his man, and in the end, he also backs off.
So we know that Prospects average 8 rounds on their T side across the last 3 months of Ancient, 9 rounds on their CT side. So the more competitive they can make this first half, and the more that they can just edge that lead further and further, the easier it's going to be moving into the second.
Minute on the clock. Prospects try action towards mid. Miltsy and Poddy there to cover it off. Poddy's going to get forced away by the smoke, but Miltsy has a suppression smoke of his own right to keep the T's away from the donut position. With 40 seconds to go as well, this could be a very pivotal piece of utility.
And they're going to smoke themselves off, try and get out towards that window position. They are sending it with pace.
Orbs posted. They're going to jump right past it, but he does get Spook. He may be aware of the fact that they're flanking. Footsteps heard. Ooh, Bobbo's going to catch Miltsy. Franson tries to act, but he's held off by Server, who knows his low HP means that he's got to get out of the way. Henry comes in with support to find Rolf. Hype with a responsive. Now grabs that M4. Needs to get that bomb to the site, though. Smoke in against him with a slight gap, which he won't plant in the midst of. USP pulls out, does some damage. Bobek, meanwhile, striking back towards mid as Hype picks up the kill on Poddy. Now it's all to Joissy, and Hype's Tech 9 is good enough for that kill. Prospects deny the streak of ENCE Academy as they bring home number 6.
What do you say about that, man? The classic anti-ecos. We've seen the struggles over the last couple of days. There really isn't much in that round. There's a couple of upgraded pistols. There's quite a few players that didn't even have armor, Jay. That can't be happening for ENCE Academy. And anytime we've seen rounds like this happen, there's just a collapse when it comes to the lead. And I'm looking at this now for Prospects and thinking that was the best gift they could have gotten all map.
Credit to them for playing the information game there, because ENCE had no idea they were pushed up in CT. You can see how far off guard the player over at Donut got caught off, right? At the AWP, you could see it during the round itself. He didn't see the 2 players jump over his crosshair, so well placed there from Prospects to force out the best advantage possible. Those key moments, those key fights, won because of those efforts, and now up into the rifle game once again. The AWP out for Hype, but a quick storm in from the AKs, getting into the B bomb site. The bomb should get planted.
Now, Joissy can't do anything. Might try and spam out, but it's not even planted towards default. This could be another instant save. Unless they get a kill quickly. Yep, save. Get out of there.
What a hell of a spray from Rolf. What a position to hold. Henu dealt with easy CTs. Still prodding towards this, though, particularly out of K. If the AWP of Poddy's holding Alpha Sonic more in over at Cheetah, the exit strategy might get, compromised by one man. The AK getting Joissy, Poddy with a responsive, but Hype is there to cover off the trade, so no saving in the possibilities here for ENCE Academy. In fact, not even Mills is going to get away alive. Server left alone. Francis even challenging him. The SMG does get that 1 pick back. But it's another fantastic round played there by Prospects.
And I think fundamentally, we're seeing some issues here from ENCE when it comes to the late round. You've got to remember, Prospects love lurking in post blunts. If you realize that that retake is not successful, you have got to get out there so quickly. As soon as Rolf gets that pick, if they start moving out of cave, they probably save those players. They're probably able to escape out towards the elbow position, because it took Spook some time to be able to get up there.
Another one for the Prospects. ENCE now with that 1 AK saved on Server is all they're really going to have to play with here in the next one.
I mean, where's Miltsy? Where's the guy that we've seen perform on land very well? Only 2 kills and 9 deaths. That's got to change. That's got to change.
He was trying to change. He took that first contact fight against the Orpa. Hype's tagged up. Bobek, however, falling to Server as the opening kill. Gives a way in now for ENCE Academy. What else can they find? Henry can find a dink. 2 points of help for Spook. Now it's on Joissy. Back up towards Wood. They haven't cleared him. They might have thought it was cleared up by the Molotov, so he sits back and he holds face for the bomb carrier to make his way in for the perfect kill to come his way. Headshots against 2. Swings back for the triple. But Spook can hold on to the kill for it. Needs another magical clutch of his own right. A 1-on-3. He's caught that first. 2 HP for 2 more players. Body's posed and he's ready to strike. What a play from Juicy.
That's well played. That's very well done there from Juicy. And notice that he's trying to play anti-flash. He's actually looking in from behind because he knows if that first player doesn't clear me, well, I'm never getting cleared. There's no way they're going to pre-aim towards this. And for Prospects, that's a little bit sloppy, right? Not clearing out all the site completely. If you're the likes of Juicy, though, that's a gift. And this is maybe 2 rounds back and forth between ENCE and Prospects where you probably shouldn't have been able to win it, but hey, comes through in the end.
Bomb plant bonus was required for this buy up here for the Prospects. They're down to a Galil on Frampton. Again, the economy's been hurt. ENCE trying to capitalise upon that. Steal around away. Start to get to a much more even scoreline than what it is already here. 7-6 will be so tantalising right now for the ENCE side.
And just see how Prospects do one molly and it pushes all of that ramp control away. Anytime Juicy wanted to go down, make an info play, see what's going out towards lane, one piece of util has driven them back completely.
Hype's AK set to look above that smoke at the B doors. Meanwhile, Wobek trying to find an angle of attack here in the mid position. Niltzi's AK was initially holding contact, in the end does fall back to Donut.
I wonder if we get a mid-round aggressive play coming through here from ENCE, because it's actually got very passive since they tried to take that ramp control.
Walk out, utility in the hands of Bobek. Niltzi with the kill. Henu able to strike out towards lane, being pressured heavily by the players over from elbow. So in the end, Franson can get a decent kill in. A 2-for-1 that still favours ENCE here.
Now they know that Poddy's playing out towards that B site, and Server gets another kill. Milty peeks on the contact, and Spook's just trapped. Nothing he can do here.
Gets that 1 pick, but no more than that. Juicy with the final strike. A shutout round there for ENCE Academy. No bomb plant for Prospects. I don't think they had any savings either, Dweg.
And notice how Milty started making that slow walk forward. He was playing out from Donut. He aggressed the angle slightly wider, looks back down towards elbow, and as soon as he gets a kill, that's just then a breakdown from 0-0 Prospects. You're trying to refrag, you're trying to trade off for the back of it. Server can peek up from that top of red position and just establish the cross between the two.
Glock's pulled out, Deagle in for Spook. Much harsher eco basis for the Prospects, and they really like to. So they're going to try sneak a bomb plant in this kind of a round. That might be the best thing they're hoping for, honestly.
And we know that Prospects have picked Ancient 24 times in the last 3 months in best-of-3 history. This now makes it a 25th. They'd love to try and extend that track record and get more wins in a row.
Spray through for Henu, strikes on 1, 2, and 3. Not quite 4, runs out of ammo, so Franson can get the trade. Miltzi can find a response, and Bobek, well, he has access to the A side, but the bomb's been dropped all the way over on the other side of the map, so he's gonna try and make his way back, and indeed does find Miltzi, just to get a little bit of a taste of their own medicine to the CT side. But Poddy is more than happy to put him in his place, and indeed bring home that 6-7 scoreline for ENCE Academy with a buy on the table for the Prospects. This could decide the winner of the half, and the Prospects appropriately will take a tactical timeout, Greg.
Now, for any of the viewers at home that was wondering when are we finally going to get a competitive map, I think this is definitely the one. This is very much in the ballpark of a tight affair. Moving into the second half, only a few more rounds to play out. ENCE Academy have been working at this this chunk of change of the deficit. Slowly and slowly, they've tried to bring it back to a minimal kind of difference. It hasn't been easy for the Finns at all, and for Prospects, 7 rounds on T-side, still pretty good. But I think the Swedes know that they can offer more, and this last bit of squeeze right at the end of the first half.
Well, again, they are up on the buy-up. Wonder what Ritter has said to his team. Rifles on both sides of standards. Vitally important round for Prospects and ENCE. Server's going to get caught first and foremost. Miltzi read upon by Hype, but he can't quite manage to adjust the spray towards his general position. Not even any damage done to the man. Plenty dished out to the Prospects, but they have the man up.
And they've done their prep, they've done their homework. Notice that, Jay, as soon as you swing out towards mid, what are you doing? You're pre-aiming that top left position. And okay, if Server's playing there, well, he's probably got a backup. This shows us the tendencies that 0-0 Prospects are ready for out on the T side. And now it's turning into what could be a double pump into B.
Could well be at this stage. ENCE are backing off here. They're going out towards the gamble stack on A. All sorts of utility being thrown out towards the B play. So this will either be defend that other site or just go for the save call here. Much earlier call in by ENCE not to get trapped by the T side that they did previously. Got MistGames trying to re-aggress, trying to get a pick back on this one, but you can see from ENCE, their hearts are not in it.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that they didn't send more of it. Like, I don't know why they gamble stacked there. We might have to ask the lads later on, because money's pretty good. It's not as if they go for the retake, they lose, and they're going to be completely disrupted. There's still a very good buy on the table. MistGames got cash, Poddy's got cash, Henu does, Server does. Okay, maybe Juicy is slightly lower than everybody else. But a gamble stack with a man disadvantage when money's in the bank? Not sure about that one.
Well, Prospects will get the half as a result of it. MistGames found an exit onto Spook. Not like it matters at this stage. It's going to be a buyback for both sides and reinvestments overall. At least it does guarantee they'll have a true rifle round here on the CT side. They will have that much. I also question the save call at this position.
I mean, they would have had, what, for Mars, an MP9 on Juicy. Everybody else would have been able to get everything. Poddy could have even had an AWP.
They get all their weapons out. The AK stays for Juicy, full set to utility and kits on every single player. So no expense there for the last round of the half for ENCE. MistGames pushing on, seeing Hype. The flashbang keeps him blinded, and he gets both the kills on the T side line. Server and MistGames falling to the hands of Hype. It's a 5-on-3 already.
And just look at the space that those mid players have been able to create. Bobek's out towards Donut, Hype's in behind him. You've got Franson walking towards A, and Bobek goes, yep, A side's completely clear. There could be someone Temple, could be someone CT, but that's it.
Now Juicy stands up against Bobek first, gets that kill. Double up is awkward on the spray. Franson can take him right back, and the AUG of Henu goes no further. Poddy in a 1-on-4. Damage being done to 3 of the 4 players on the T side, down to 54 or less. But he has no idea where these guys are at, has no idea where they're playing from. It's at least Red Spook can get the 2 deagle taps, but now needs so much more, and Hype is so ready for the man. And there it is, a 9-6 to close out the half. The T side of Prospects doing particularly well, but not as well as it was against the Young Ninjas, and certainly, Dwayne, as you mentioned, the most competitive opening half we've seen between 2 teams so far in the tournament.
Yeah, it's definitely been competitive, but I think if you look at it from the POV of the Swedes, they'll be very happy with that. That's a good, confident scoreline to go into the second. There were some testing moments here or there for ENCE Academy, but I think going into the second half, you've got to see rounds quick. If you're not winning the opening pistol, you're not winning the opening force buy, if you're not winning the opening rifle, this first map could be wrapped up quickly, because I know Prospects are very strong on their city side.
And this is their map pick, and we know that strength must be right in there. Of course, CT side basis to play from in the pistol round of the second half. ENCE Academy, off the back of losing the pistol, that they allowed the initial 5-0 start from Prospects to come through, and I imagine that they were wanting to avoid that in the second half the same.
I mean, it's crazy that Hype's got 16 kills, and we saw barely any AWPing. I mean, we'll see it in the second half for sure.
Well, Poddy's going to strike first here in the second half. Poddy with the P250 on Bobek. Just that 1 kill and silence across the map for the time being for it. ENCE hold their nerve, expecting more CT aggression, and they might just get it in Spook.
Now, Franson's hoping for a walkout, hoping for a contact that can come through from A, and this just comes down to who is more patient. Is it Spook playing out here at the bottom of lane? Is it MistGames that's going to peek out from the top of the cubby? This is pretty much won all by 1 kill, and yeah, this round's done.
B completely open, bombs on its way in. A little bit of resistance from Hyper will get here and just about beat them to contact. But ultimately, will not be able to do much here with that contact. And USP taking fights, and MistGames will win it out. Good shot from Franson, okay. Is he going to try his hand at this? He's got backup coming into the back lanes as Rolf tries to strike against Poddy, looking to engage against the man, aware that Henny might be out towards Cheetah, and indeed he is. So now it's all on Franson to try and go for these kills. Headshots are plenty for him so far. A third one found, but Server puts him down. Brings home the pistol for ENCE, an important pistol for ENCE.
Yeah, it's a decent attempt there from the Dalmatian lover, but it doesn't quite come through in the end on that 2v5 situation. ENCE Academy pretty much wrapped up that round as soon as they got the pick onto Spook down there towards the bottom of the lane position. So ENCE Academy and the Finns can get themselves started in the second half.
So you say it's a Dalmatian lover, but what I saw on his monitor was certainly not a Dalmatian.
No, well, you got to know the behind-the-scenes stuff, Jay. If you follow Franson on Twitter, if you maybe look at his Steam, if you maybe look at any of his social media accounts, there's Dalmatians everywhere.
To be fair, they're the best breed of dog, so...
Yeah?
I'm happy with them. Can't blame him for that love. Poddy loves the openers. He's got 2 so far in this half, and he's going to follow up on Bobek. And again, the rifle basis against the Force Buy, which does see an M4 for Rolf to his credit. Hasn't been able to apply it. Spook's a little bit better against Juicy. miltzy with a responsive, though. So all's well that ends well for now.
Yeah, this is looking uncomfortable for prospects on the Force Buy. They are shifting a gamble stack up here towards A, and it does mean that if the B take does come in, that they'll be able to save onto a Deagle and an M4 come the next round. But for ENCE Academy, this looks pretty good. I mean, miltzy's clearing out all of B, so the further he gets, the more knowledge he's going to be able to come over to bring that bomb back to B, and they're making that mid-round call now. That's a good read.
In 50 seconds. Make their way closer. Enable a chance for them to cut those rotations or just go hunting after the bomb gets planted, which seems like what miltzy wants to do here. Get rid of that M4, get rid of that Deagle, give them no potential in the way of any sort of exit frag damages. Damage will get with the next round. And indeed, Francis is going to go down. We're all seen, challenged by Henu, and they're closing in the pinces. He's got so much time to try and stay alive, and miltzy just domes him in immediately. ENCE taking no prisoners on the prospects right now.
And now you start wondering what the opening rifle round's going to look like, because at an 8-9 scoreline with a harsh eco, whoever takes the rifle round's going to be able to take back the lead. Try and extend it, try and work off the back of it. Nade stack maybe out towards elbow or something gimmicky. ENCE Academy, though, should not be up against much in this round.
Be easy to resist this. These are doing some decent damage to their credit. Actually, Server's a lot lower than I'd like him to be. 28 HP for the man. In the end, their presence over on B is going to drive prospects out of there.
It's fairly clever here from prospects. You nade stack out from B, and then you give up the idea that you're playing heavy towards B, so you start shifting it. You start bringing more players into mid, more players up to A. Poddy could fall because there's only him and Server out from mid.
Uh-oh, that's 2 for 1. They've got a couple of rifles to play with now. They're going to try and go cheeky here. They might just do so. Smoke's in the way, will block off the bomb's position, the bomb site in general. But prospects may have found some courage here, Dweg.
Yeah, they could come quickly in from Cheetah. You've got Rolf just making sure that he doesn't aggress through that smoke. He's being wrapped in from CT, but it's going to take some time.
They can clear out this back lane, though, then they can focus on the 3 players coming in from Cheetah and Cave, though. Engagement's being found already, but that AK is in a bit of trouble. Juicy indeed to strike on Rolf, but Hype comes up good. 3 on 2. Bomb is directly in the open. Molotov straight on it. That's a good call to make. And the CTs know that they can't get onto this defuse anymore. They're just going to grab their weapons, run with them, take him out. Oh, jumping back 10 from Juicy. There's a little bit of style points on the way out of the round, but ultimately it is a round for ENCE. For prospects, they can be happy, though. That's a lot of damage being done.
It is. That's an excellent eco. 3 players to drop, 2 rifles to be saved. And yet again, teams struggling on the anti-eco over the course of this LAN. And in all honesty, those are the kind of rounds, Jay, that while it might only have economical impact, it can have long-term effects if you get reset quickly.
We're evened up for now. Rifle round inbound for both sides. Mac 10 on Server is going to stay, and that's going to be effective against 2 players. Spook and Franson do not have helmets. AK's also everybody else. Molotov sent back and forth from both sides. Prospects forced to concede the Cheetah control.
It's intriguing that ENCE Academy are bringing the AWP out on T-side, because Prospects had the money for it so many times, but just opted against it completely. Felt as if they had more success with the 4 AKs, so that could then be transitioned into a 5th. Poddy looking up towards his long control, flash around the corner, at least allows that jiggle to come down from Rolf.
Not smoke in the way of server here. AK held a spook. Tries his hand at some spam potential, but nothing's really there to receive it over at elbow. Hype's not going for his wallbangs at all here.
So if a molly comes out, Spook might take the contact and try and fall back towards his cave angle. They might not clear Hype. Oh, he actually peeks through. That HE could do a lot of damage.
Sent over. Chunky on server, Juicy and MistGames. Molotov trying to send him back. That flashbang does absolutely nothing, so he gets the kill immediately there on server's peak, opening up the round at last. Second player around that corner, Juicy's caught as Hype makes it a double. UXP pulled out for MistGames' part, but MistGames has the AK and he has the frag to a 3-on-3.
Yeah, Hype's done really well there. He's done a lot of damage, and now you've even got the likes of Bobek coming through as a lane lurk. He's already up towards the top.
Flash is sent, Henu leaning, Bobek. Lil held, MistGames tagged up to 8 points of health. The bomb will go down. The retake should be on with Henu falling especially. It makes it very, very doable here for the prospects. Bobek finding MistGames, and now Poddy in the 1-on-3, in the clutch. The AWP pulled out. I think he got spotted there by Franson. I think Bullet started flying his direction. One of the defuse, they'll hold it. Oh, he lands the leg shot. Second tap, not going to quite land the no-scope. Good effort, but not to be for the man. It'll be a 10th as the prospects defend the lead.
Now that's a very good round coming through from the Swedes. And again, you think about what they did on the Eco. 3 players to drop. You've now won a rifle round. Henu had quite a bit of cash, but there were some players down low. So while there'll be another buy on the table, let's keep an eye out on how much money is left in the reserve. Because I'll tell you right now, Jay, it will be limited.
Money is at least flowing for ENCE. They do have the weapon buy. AWPs and AKs across the T side. 2 AKs picked up from that previous round as well for prospects. So there's firepower to play with in the basic rifles and the AWP potential. 4 players outside of B doors in it. Lane got 1 man to try and hold up the spook. ENCE playing out the default.
Normally we see MistGames trying to create the openings towards top of lane, try and insert himself out towards Cheetah. That might be something that they're encouraging. Franson and the likes of Hype have taken so much mid control. Now notice they haven't used any util, so it's been super silent.
Well, Hype's caught Henry to start. Molly sent in by Juicy now as he tries to prod them out. Has he been seen? He can be seen if he starts peeking out, so Franson's posted ready for this player. The main focal point turns towards ramp where Rolf is in danger, but he does deal with that danger. MistGames in particular found. Re-smoke on towards that long control. Damage to the HE doing work against 2. Bombs on site can get planted. Not denied by Spook. But Poddy falls anyway, so 2 players left standing. I don't think this post plant's going to last long here for ENCE Academy. Flash forward, Juicy leans up. Rolf caught off, but he gets the kill instead to server. On for the ace. Not going to happen.
Superb. Absolutely superb there from 0-0 Prospects. And it's such a great way to follow up a good round by an even better one. Everyone's staying alive. Yeah, you can maybe look at it and say they offered up a bomb plant. Yeah, they did, but they're saving AKs. They've got 4 AKs, an AWP, everybody alive. That's what we like to call just the perfection round. The one where you can't really criticize much of it.
Very well done indeed. ENCE's bomb plant bonuses will start to whittle down on the fact they haven't saved any of these weapons here, so 1 AK out on the half investment. Not even a hero AK. Poddy's still in line with what would otherwise be considered a half buy sort of money flow.
That makes sense. You've got to make something happen of it, though. Don't want to waste it. CT smoke coming through from Henu. This could be a very quick pop.
Server fast man in with the bomb on his back. Incendiary and HG combination from Bobek. Stand with the AK instead. It just lines him up and mows him down. And sweet FA is gained from that AK, as are the rest of the pistols there from the ENCE Academy side. 1 on 5 for Henu. And this will be 12-9.
Now, I want to talk about mental state at the moment. We've had an ENCE Academy side that's been quite competitive, right? You look at the first half, you look at the opening in the second, back and forth, score lines being pretty tight. We've now had 3 extremely good rounds in a row go the way of Prospects. And it makes me wonder what the mental side of things are going to be like for ENCE Academy, because they haven't had many chances in the last 3. Yes, again, that's just an eco and a hero AK, but it's very dominant.
Well, it's only been 3 rounds in a row, though. It's not the most strenuous streak that we've seen in the past. It's certainly not the most strenuous streak that we've seen so far at this event.
Well, I think when you've got 4 AKs on the City side, you're normally expected to press that to a 4th, maybe even a 5th in a row.
ENCE have AKs of their own right. They'll try to resist that and deny it from the first step. Galil, it's going to be the first entry point here for Server. Henry's going to follow it up against Bobek, who did find a trade in the interim. So 4-on-3 for ENCE. Prospects are forced away, and at least the start of the round has been a very proficient one here for the ENCE side.
You just saw both teams trying to fight for that mid-control, flying it out of the gate from elbow. Spook's now going to back off out from B. This could start turning into a slightly more gamble stack to the A side of things. ENCE Academy do slow it down, but it seems like it is going to be a B exact.
The smoke's being set up towards long and short. No one on the bomb site, so really Spook's just left to just hold his nerve and pray that they can find some sort of spray through that smoke. Hopefully they can get a bit of aggression against the ENCE Academy side. Hoddy, look at his position up here. This is quite interesting. The jump face to find a man and get the kill. And now they should save.
That's a good call here for Prospects. They realize they got plenty of cash, so you might as well in that situation look to see, can we create a retake? Can we actually put ourselves in a position that we can start driving back? We don't have to worry as maybe as a security level when it comes to how much funds we have. A 10th round there from ENCE Academy, and that round was all that successful from the opening couple of picks that they found out in mid.
There you go, streak over. Exactly what ENCE wanted at this stage. Unfortunately for them, the confidence has bolstered the cash so much for Prospects that even saving could be questioned a little bit because they've got like 12 grand, 13 grand per player at the moment.
Oh, you don't question the save there. That round wasn't winnable at all. That's why you even saw Spook trying to go for it.
I mean, in the case of risk versus reward, right?
Oh, mate, there's no risk there. There's no reward. It's a bloody 2v4. They're out in mid and A. How can you go for that?
I'm just thinking that, you know, if you have the money, go for the attempt.
No.
You said it before, mate.
No. The context is very important there, Jay. They were nowhere near the bomb site.
Well, fast play in from ENCE Academy. Mac 10 in for Server. Rolf holds his nerve. Sprays awkward with the flashbang throwing off his vision. Spook can get the trade back, and Henry able to respond. One more man down at Franson. 4-on-2 situation. And now you go for a definitive save. There is nothing for Bobek here.
Just a quick beep up there from ENCE Academy. Strong utility usage. Entry's always going to be proficient when you want to try and go for a round like that. You've got Henu finding yourself a triple kill. For ENCE Academy, that's a very good round. Probably one of their best that we've seen on T side. And it's a call that's kind of come out of nowhere. We've seen a bit more of a passive style of calling from Server. You come into a situation after a save where it's just instant. It's a fast pace of acceleration. And for ENCE Academy, they'll feel as if that round right there is now the sort of building blocks as such to keep it tight right to the end, to actually give yourself a couple of rounds in a row.
And once again, they are within touching distance of the Prospects, 12-11. CT forces. Back in with the buy again. The AK's out for the ENCE Academy side. The nades sent their general contacts out towards the elbow position ahead of the smokes. They'll look. Spook suppressed by Molotovs and incendiaries from the back and front. His own incendiary to block off the rush into the T side line. His blind spray against Miltz. He does quite a lot of damage, but doesn't get the kill.
This is a fairly heavy swing round for both of these teams. And Spook is expecting a boost up over the left-hand side of that lane control. Back and forth for the spam. At least he's doing chip damage.
Does get forced out of the way in the end, though, as ENCE get their map control. Mid control also for Henu's part. Miltzy and Juicy. Kind of smoke some Molotovs back before Spook leaving the utility back over towards the long position. Less than a minute to play with. No opening kill.
Henu's found himself in a very good position. If they be exec, he can late lurk in from candles and try and cut rotates. This is completely unknown as of right now. There is 3 or B at least for Prospects.
Chipping away at the HP bars of the CT forces. They're hiding in smokes and behind flashbangs. Spook has not been detected. He might have been heard there, and finally Miltzy can pounce. Get that man down. AWP behind the smoke as Francis hoping for a trade back. He might be giving away the information to Henu, though. It's AK with the late lurk in towards the retaking positions. If they even want to go for the retake, I think they're going in for another save here for the Prospects. Indeed they are. Henry to cut off Hype, get that kill. Rolf also hard, may also be dead. Swing forward, not quite able to capitalize upon it, but Prospect's getting a bit of a taste of their own medicine. ENCE actually might end up losing a number of players here, but Poddy does find Bobek, so again, it's going to be an expensive round for the Prospects, not even allowed to save their weapons when they call in a quick rotation so early. They're being hunted and all. I think they should be able to get away with that M4 at the least. Rolf is in a little bit of trouble, but not being pressed. The bottom line, however, is the scoreline, 12 apiece.
And you could just see from Hedu how disciplined he is up there towards top mid, out there in the candles position. Doesn't peek too early. You have back and forth spams. It looked as if for a moment Spook wasn't going to get detected. But one thing you can look at that crossfire out on B and just say Spook either needed assistance or needed to back off. It was one of those two positions. He finds himself tucked out from default and no one's there to crossfire. He's completely alone. Giving up the B site, giving over an easy pick. And ENCE Academy have now tied it up at 12 each.
Tactical taken by the Prospects. And rightfully so. This went from a very good opening half for them to now ENCE knocking on the door of a lead. And they might just get it. 3 in a row for them. Lots of damage being done to the Prospects. That strong money line from a few rounds ago has been whittled away. And there is high potential with only those 2 safe rifles being part of this setup here.
Now Franson going to be involved with the mid control. Now, keep an eye out for where both of these players are playing from. You've got Hype out to A, the M4 in from mid. Jeez, both of the rifles are actually going to defend against the AXE.
So fast into the T-side line, and Server does get put down for it. Hype with the kill, but it doesn't cancel the execution. They are on the bomb site. Henry behind the smokes. Hype being pressured, backed up. When does Henry look to strike? Flashes send him forward. No, they don't. It's going to wait even further. Bobek with a kill. Franson finds Henry. Poddy found one of the mix. It's a 4-on-2 right now for the Prospects. The bomb's been dropped in the open, and the smokes are about to fade.
And Poddy's just hoping for a fight. Try to see if he can get that bomb plant, but it's so difficult. They need fights before they can get the bomb plant in.
Oh, they're going to back away. They're going to try play the mind games. They can't play the firepower because they're down by 2. This is a very risky kind of play from ENCE Academy, but it might have to be a risk that you take.
Yeah, you've got no other option there. You've got light utility, you've got a single smoke, there's a lack of information, you've got to try and work the mid-round. And time is still on their side, you're getting closer to 40 seconds. 0-0 Prospects, I don't think you could have stacked those rifles any better than what they were able to do towards A. That was just ENCE running into a trap. And even from this position onwards, look at how passive it is from the CT side. They're just playing the percentage.
They've left mid unaccounted for, though. There's an angle in which, well, there was an angle in which they could try and sneak in against both Hype and Franson, but Hype's now watching it. AWP, gun barrel, footsteps heard, he looks to engage, but Juicy wins that fight, second man around that corner. AK spray from Franson's awkward. Juicy domes him in, and he's brought it back to a 2-on-2.
And now leaving the smoke to come down for coverage. Spook might try and put that fight in quickly to Poddy.
Poddy hiding behind the smoke, he's going to sneak through it. Spook being heard, tagged up, Rolf on side, tagging his way through. Spook with the kill, and now 12 HP for Juicy to try and find the bomb is open for him. That H, he said wide, he gets one. But no more than that. Rolf for the very fast trade. A hell of an effort for ENCE, but not to be.
And that was probably one of the best tries that we've seen all tournament so far. That was a very good effort of recovering an uncomfortable round. Because one thing that the side of Prospects tried to do there was give a high advantage. Look at this duel. You've got a vertical duel on there to the likes of Franson. It's a very good kill, and he ends up getting it into a 1v1 situation. The bottom line there, Jay, is how much easier that round would have been able to close if it was a 4v4, if it was a 3v3. When you work in a 2v4 like that, you're always going to struggle.
It's a lead retaken by the Prospects. Quick boost up for Bobek to get quickly into the lane control. But they're once again charging A. Hype is ready for it for the first kill. Saw that second player cross him, the smoke bloomed way too early. Bomb is on site. Henry's cutting off the mid, rotates. But it should be a retake.
Oh, now the bomb's gone down. This pretty much cancels the round. Rolf could try and play around the util. ENCE really struggling for this position onwards.
Yeah, now it's a 5-on-2. Hype sort pick onto Server. The fast play is not working out for ENCE Academy. Henry holding his nerve here. The smoke indeed did miss. You see up on the left-hand side of your screens. Now Henry's gone down. The backstab's closing in. Poddy in trouble. In dire straits. Dealt with by Spook. It's 14-12 Prospects. back in full control. ENCE Academy had such a great position at 12-12, but now it's slipped out of their fingertips.
And think about how Juicy must feel, that he was 1 kill away from bringing back a near impossible round. Okay, we've gone past that. We've gone into the next. We've just been rolled. We've been absolutely slapped when it comes to round number 26, going into now 27. You've got another buy on the table. There's a Mac 10 for server. ENCE Academy, they need some breathing room, but look at the AKs that's been saved again from Prospects.
So much firepower on the CT side. The buy is at least in for ENCE, but this will be their last one unless they get a bomb plant. And realistically speaking, they need to win the round itself. One more to map point for Prospects. ENCE, it's not impossible for them to usurp them, but when they're giving away kills like that, that's where issues arise. First man down on MistGames.
Juicy, does he try and clear out this left-hand side position? No, not at all. Oh, okay. He got there in the end.
My heart. Oh, the spook is too good. He's gotten spooked. Once again, a 2v5. Once again, ends down by simple individual plays. Losing these fights. Prospects back in complete form. Spook on for the quadra. He doesn't quite get it. He's already got 3, though. He's done enough in this round. Server still needs the ace. 40 seconds to try and do so. Backstab's closing in from lane and from all the way back at the ace line. In fact, they cleared out the mid control just in case. But either way, Rolf is ready for this. The back will be turned. And there goes the kill. Map point on Ancient for Prospects.
And I'm probably going to have to go back and look at the statistics, Jay, but I kid you not, I think Prospects have got the highest round win percentage in 5v4 situations. Think about how many of these rounds we've seen on Ancient today and in that quarterfinal series, that anytime they're getting the opening pick, they're closing the round down, and in style too.
They look damn good. Despite ENCE's efforts, it seems like their time may be up here on map 1. Forced by, as you would expect, being down on map point. AK and Galil being the only rifles, though. The CTs have more AKs than the Ts do. Try and utilize that to great effect. Spread out default in from mid and lane. Got one man to challenge outside of Donut. I think he just got a little bit of damage. ENCE trying to play careful here.
Now, there's going to be an aggressive play out for the ramp control. Server's been seen. Spook tries to get out of trouble, but Rolf backing him up, loses the fight.
Server's going to keep going, though. Spook's going to trade it. Overly hungry there as Hype drops the bomb carrier. Juicy down and out. Deagle back in for Milts. He doesn't quite hit the headshot immediately, but he does get a kill in the end. M4 still standing back towards Wood. The AK of Bobek going to provide a bit of distraction as Franson comes in close. Spook should be known here, but he still gets Milsey. Still swings on Henu. Still gets a triple. Again on for the quadra as Pony rotates all the way back into the ace right. That's his only chance.
He might not even be able to get the bomb down straight away. This rotation from Franson is coming out quick from CT.
No utility either. Can't suppress his vision. Got to take that fight and win it. Even then, Franson's made his way across. Plant out to the back wall. Now Pony makes his way away to watch out Donut, but unawares of how close Franson is. His back may be turned, but he's behind harder cover, so it'll take a moment to set it up.
Now, Franson knows that he didn't go towards A main, so he's either default or Donut. There's so much information in this 3v1.
Tapped once. The firing squad standing on the bomb site, swung upon spray through. Transfer to 2 is missed out, and Franson can get the defuse for the 16-12. The Prospects might have been tested, but ultimately their map pick is theirs.
And just think, 12-12, when pressure's on, when it looks like ENCE Academy have got a very late resurgence into the game after what was a 9-6 half, what do? They close it down, and they close it down with some really strong rounds in the end there.
And the win streak will continue for the Prospects. Another map in a row of Ancient for them. They look incredible on this map in particular. We saw it during the Young Ninja series. We saw it here and now, but this was a test. ENCE Academy, they brought their A-game in this matchup. It just wasn't quite to be on their opponent's map pick.
And they had some difficult rounds. I think they struggled massively in the anti-ecos. You look at that round where Juicy nearly brought back a 2v4. If there would have been a slightly different protocol, if there would have been a slightly different setup in mind before they get into that situation, maybe it ends up being closer. Maybe we see more rounds here for ENCE Academy.
And I have to give praise to the top 3 players on the board, because it's not like there was one individual who you could say, oh, that was the guy that really made the effort. Hype, 25 kills. Bobek, 25 kills. Spook, 21 kills, especially towards the end. The amount of 3Ks he had, that was just absolutely ridiculous.
It was indeed. And I think, again, we look at prospects, right, and it's always a strong rifle pack. You've got Hype that didn't AWP at all in that first half. I think he ended the first half with 16 kills. He came out into the second, maybe didn't have as much impact with the AWP than we saw in that Young Ninja series, but he was consistent, man. He put numbers up on the board.
Look, this has been another great map, honestly. It's been another fantastic map up there for the prospects, and yes, it was still Ed's bringing a bit of thunder, and that just gives me encouraging hope, right? Because this is the first competitive map we've seen. We have seen comebacks to make it close 16-14s, but this is the first one we've seen it from the word go to a decent start, both sides going blow for blow, a very close 9-6 half, and ultimately a very close map ending at 16-12. So I think that we found the one, Blake. This is the series to watch out for.
Yeah, we have, but at the same time, isn't it wild that we look at that first half being competitive and it's still 9-6, right? It's not an 8-7 where you can have as the closest. And I think Friends Academy, they'll look back at that and say, we might have had chances to close Ancient. I don't think you can sit there and say, we should have won Ancient. You had chances to win Ancient. It didn't quite come through. They're now moving over to their map pick, a much more solid map in the pool of their Mirage. And I think across the board, we're still going to go to a 3.
So you have a couple of rounds you want to show off in that sort of matchup, Dwight, and I want to ask you about the key moments. I mean, it could be for either side, and favourable to either side, in my honest opinion, because they both had their moments, they both had their rounds. So just, you know, who do you want to highlight? How do you want to highlight? Like, just talk me through a few things. Yeah,
so I've got a few rounds. I'm mainly going to focus on prospects in this second half, because I just felt as if they were having a lot of movement. Now, notice that there from Spook. He comes out towards that K position, tries to bring that distraction back over. Hype then finds himself in a position where he kind of has to fight, ends up trying to back off. They're trying to support one another. Server's looking for that trade frag after that first kill comes through. Hype is tucked in from the corner. Spook is peeking on the contact, and you can just see the protocols that they have to do so much damage. You now find yourselves in a 3v3. There's 30 seconds on the clock. Look at what Bobek does. Instantly pressing mid, trying to make that info play, trying to make that backstab happen. The 2B defenders, they're just playing passive. They can play the percentage, they can play the numbers game, and Potty, he misses this timing. Does not see the individual getting back in from Cheetah. Henu comes back to try and clear it, but it's already too late from that position onwards. And just once you've got that 3v2 and you've got that backstab in that quickly, that's it. That's just the round completely finished. And from this point onwards, tap the bomb, draw the fights out into the open, round secured. Fairly easily done.
Yeah, no way that AWP. I mean, he gave a decent shot at it. Yeah. Like, if it was a couple inches higher, that probably might have landed the kill. But even then, to land another one with another player on the defuse at the same time, that's still a very difficult situation. And just the coordination that they found themselves came down to a lot of timings, I think, over the course of this match.
And I think that's always what you'll see with good teams, right? Good teams in the Tier 2 atmosphere that can really bring that slight edge is reading the game, understanding when you need to make info plays, understanding when the right time is to start aggressing forward. And I felt as if prospects in that second half read the game very well.
Well, what about your next round? You've got another one to show me, mate.
Yeah, there's quite a few to dive into here. So this is actually the follow-up round where you've just had a tight 3v3, you end up coming through. Now, you're instantly walking in towards a mid-control, and it's silent. You're not using any utility. So what does Henu think? Well, I'm going to jiggle out here towards elbow. There might not be anybody holding. What you don't find is the AWP tucked around the corner. You then have Franson looking up to the top of lane position, and I think it just shows from prospects the ability to adapt even after a successful round, even after to get that change up. You've got Hype then getting aggressive towards top lane. Rolf very defensive out there to the B side. And now you've got a 5v3. You don't really need to peek from this position onwards. You can allow your lane positions to get up to Kilter. Spook nearly comes through from denying the bomb. And now you just play the numbers. You wait for the T's to overextend, and Juicy and Server do exactly that. They try and take some long control. They try and take some space. Look at how passive Rolf is there, man. It's a 5v2. Rather than being up and close behind that smoke, he's trying to wait for them to come towards him. And again, that's just the discipline factor that I'm noticing from prospects over the course of this map is when you've got man advantages, when the round is in your hands, you're not throwing it away. You're playing sensible CS.
No, I agree with you there, because you could see how they got baited in towards, even towards the very last back line. That's an incredible sort of position to be at there, and it just goes to show again the kind of quality that they played there on this sort of map or on the prospect side. But you've got one more clip for us, Dwayne, so show me this final round.
We do, so this is round 26, and this is a changing round in the game. You're up by 1, you've got another info play getting aggressive out towards mid. Hype is super defensive out from CT, and just look at how instantly they get players in position to rotate over. The bomb ends up getting denied, Server tries to take some map control, and as soon as that bomb goes down, it's chaos. ENCE are looking to try and create some fights, looking to try and get back into the bomb side, and again, that one denial of the bomb ruins the round for ENCE Academy completely.
Yeah, and it's like one of those key rounds where they tried the rush tactic on the end side and it didn't work out. There were a number of those times over the course. I think it was actually the second in a row of which they tried the rush on the A side and it didn't quite work out for them. There was the 4 versus 2 in the previous round. This time the complete whitewash. So they've got a great read of what ENCE are doing right now. And it is somewhat concerning going into the next map of Mirage. But for me, I do look at that being the ENCE Academy pick, and I still feel like given what we just saw over on Ancient, we're still on for our 3-map affair.
Yeah, we possibly could do. Again, for prospects, we know that Ancient's very solid. We know it's one of their better maps in the pool. Mirage is the exact same conversation for ENCE Academy.
Indeed, it is. I mean, we look forward to seeing how well they can do it, whether they can turn it around, and whether or not the prospects can take another 2-0. We're going to take a quick break, however, and decide all those questions after this.
I wanted to ask about, where you see the academy team sort of fitting into what the landscape's going to look like, the change sort of environment that we'll have when CS2 comes out.
Yeah, I mean, I think with a new game or new update, whatever you call it, I think that it's gonna bring so many more investors and tournament organisers into play, because the game's going to get so popular again. I mean, you talk about so popular, it's hitting records every week at the moment on game players played. Sorry. But I genuinely think this update will bring so much more to it. And I mean, in regards to academies and stuff, I've always been worried since the drop of WePlay. Fair play to those guys. I've got full respect for them with the situation. But we need a league like that. You saw Fnatic Rise and other teams drop out immediately when WePlay was cancelled or before the announcement because they had a meeting. And for me, I've always said, academy teams shouldn't rely on, one sort of partnership league. That's just not Counter-Strike, and that's just not how it should be. And ENCE fully supported that. They said that to me without even me saying it. So that's when I knew I was at home and they believe about the development of these players, because they said that we don't need to rely on WePlay. But with tournaments like, even here, for example, MistGames, I said it during Greg the other day when we arrived, this is massive for academy teams. And if you can continue to play in things like this, it is super beneficial for these academy players going forward. And who knows, there might be someone else that may come in. With Counter-Strike 2, there's more people coming in. And I think with the recent success we've had in academy teams, you look at Mouse, for example, at the Major and stuff with their 3 academy players, that's huge. And that's the way the new system should be. Somewhat like football. Of course, in football, you don't always look externally to buy it because it costs a lot of money, right? So they look internally in their academies and blah, blah, blah. That's how a football system works. And I think that's come into play now with Counter-Strike, because that was my main goal. When I saw how football academies work in football, that approach and coaching I wanted to bring to CS. And it's happening slowly.
And I think one of the things that people are wondering the most is what's with the buzz cuts? How did that all come into the action? Because I think before all the haircuts came, everyone had nice haircuts, nice luscious hair, and then it all disappeared overnight.
Well, it was a bet that we will do buzz cuts as a team.
Yeah.
But some people backed out from it.
Yeah, some people. So we're looking at Milty here, are we?
Milty and Whitey.
Yeah. What needs to happen maybe in the next bet to get those 2 guys to shave off completely?
I don't know. That was disappointment.
Yeah. Winning the event, maybe? We're going to get a promise there?
I don't know. You have to ask from them. I cannot say anything. I cannot trust them anymore.
Yeah. And have you had a chance of... Because you set up the PCs yesterday to see what the stage looked like. What did you think of that?
It was really nice.
Yeah.
It was different.
Yeah, to me, it feels like a local landfill. You're quite close to the other team. Over the last few days, there's been quite a bit of trash talking, a bit of emotion between the players. Is it going to be you that's maybe getting up and screaming, or someone else? It's going to be you?
Yeah.
So we'll be ready for that then.
You better be.
Yeah, you got, Spook, I think, dropped 23 kills on map 1 and then 23 kills on map 2. Is there anyone, I think, that maybe you fear on prospects, or is it just... Because I know that you guys have played them in the past, but it's been a while since then.
No, not really. We have UEC, so we don't have anyone to fear.
Oh, what a barn burner of an opening map in our best of 3 of 16-12 that ultimately goes the way of the 0-0 prospects, their own map pick of Ancient successful. Now we move to Mirage, the pick of the boys over on ENCE Academy. We've got some insights to share, obviously, today. We went through a few of the rounds, but we've also got a very important member of the 0-0 prospect, Zippy, assistant coach, who's very in tune with the tactics basis of this team and what you've got us for. So thank you very much for joining us, man. Appreciate it, especially when you're in the middle of a series as well, right? Like, there's a lot of pressure on you at the moment.
Thank you for having me.
I think that's the appropriate response. So obviously, like, you know, that map was absolutely close, right? That whole protocol, given what we saw from you guys in the previous series against Young Ninjas, were you expecting it to be as close as it was?
I expected us to win with a little bit of larger number. We had good control on them and we knew what they like to do. So I think we played not our best match, but it's fine. A win is a win.
And I might start talking about Mirage now, because obviously it's a very good map for ENCE. It's always the go-to. You would have expected this in the veto, right? There's no way they're not picking Mirage against you. So we know that Spook likes to play up towards short on the CT side, kind of works the mid control on T side. Is there anything as an audience we should be expecting from you guys in this kind of matchup?
We have been practicing Mirage lately,
Okay.
so we have kind of new stuff you're probably gonna see. And we expected them to pick Mirage.
Yep.
And I feel that we are comfortable playing Mirage against them.
Go on, Jay.
Yeah, I was going to say, but given what we've just seen from that first map up, right? It was a very close affair. Like, to me, it feels like if you're going to take that matchup, it's going to be skin of your teeth stuff. Are you expecting that in a similar capacity? Are the boys prepared for a very close map too?
In the break right now, after the game, we talked a little bit and we said we're gonna like focus and go with all full firepower from the beginning. And I hope we actually take Mirage kinda easy.
Thinking about Mirage, you don't actually get to play much of it, right? I mean, you've always got your permaban of Nuke. You're not interested in playing that. Your Mirage is one of your least played maps in the pool, so we actually haven't had a massive amount of seeing time as such. Do you think that gives you an advantage going into a very strong map against ENCE if you haven't played much of it?
I think all of our 5 players are very, very competent CS players, and if we like deep dive to a map, we're gonna get good really fast on it. And we played Mirage on WePlay like long time ago, and that was our best map then. And I think our Mirage is strong.
Now, we just heard on Henu's interview there during the break that he doesn't fear you guys. He doesn't see anything that to fear in the 0-0 prospects. And I wanted to ask, like, obviously, there's a lot to fear in you guys, if nothing else, from the Young Ninjas sort of series. Actually, I'm not even going to be able to answer that question, unfortunately, because we have to get into the map up. So forget that. I want to ask for your scoreline prediction. How do you think this was going to go?
16-5 to 0-0.
Oh my goodness, I can't believe we've just heard that.
Well, confidence is the best thing possible. Thank you so much, Zippy, for joining us. Appreciate you taking your time. We're now ready to get into the pistol round here between ENCE and 0-0 prospects. In with the Glocks and the USPs as appropriate. It's on to Mirage with a CT start on the Swedes.
Just knowing for prospects, you've got a setup out here towards CT, even the player up towards top Balk. That's Spook being pre-aimed. Hype towards under Balk. This might not get cleared.
Does see him then take a fight against Miltzine. Indeed, he gets that kill. Franson, a similar story. Hype under Balk gets his double. Franson gets his own double, and it's decimation against ENCE Academy. Indeed, a pistol that looks to go the way of the 0-0 prospects.
And that's quite cheeky of a pistol round coming through from ENCE's point of view. Even though it doesn't work out that nicely, they go in for a really quick pop, something very pacey towards our A side. They even get an entry. That first point of contact to deal with Spook up from Palace was successful. They had Henu on a super late lurk to come out from the B side, and Jesus actually turning this into a massive clutch situation. Not to be in the end, and I think Rolf's smiles probably tell it all. Yes, Henu was trying to go lay out on B and lurk back into A. That round was pretty much out of the equation. It got very close in the end, so just not quite there from Henu.
He did say that he had nothing to fear, and he definitely acted like that in this particular round. My word.
There's a lot of individual 1v1s being put up there, so I think prospects are happy that they've closed it down.
Very risky though. I saw a world in which that one headshot, one bullet's all it takes sometimes, man. Oh wow. Well, it's at least good to see that this match is going to continue the way it started. Pistol, of course, going the way of prospects. ENCE giving it all that they can. No bomb plant bonus here. Get those Galils together on one individual, but upgrade pistols for everybody else.
Yeah, for ENCE Academy, I am wondering with this kind of setup how much impact is really going to come through from Henu, because obviously they'll know that with so many players falling that they can force a complete reset. Hype playing out for Connector. Oh, there's a lineup for a moment. That's actually some decent chip damage onto Milty and Server.
There's the kill found Hype. SMG leaning in, spray through from Spook's part of things. Can't quite land anything more here. Just that early damage. The kill found against the T side.
And Bobek playing out here towards the marker position. There is a drop down, so a bomb plant could come through pretty easily here from Juicy. Flash around the corner is excellent for Henu to get the peak.
They're going to give it a go, I think. 4-on-4 situation, 2 HP for Juicy, though, as the cross from Franzen did a lot of damage. Man's hid behind the pillars. 2 CTs make their way in from the short control. Rolf and Henu trade places. Franzen still looking in for Henu's own part. He does go down, so 2 Tech 9s against the rest. That backstab in from Miltz is going to be everything. Juicy hasn't got the HP to play with, though. He's going to get checked by Spook, who gets that kill immediately, and Hype quickly turns with the backstab, quickly gets the kill, quickly gets the round for Prospects.
And the issue there is a late lurk in mid, the bomb's not even planted for you. And I think perhaps there's a little bit of miscommunication there, friends. If you want to try and set up that backstab, it's got to be quicker if that bomb's not planted for you. Because even if you're in a 1vx and you're trying to fight up against it, they're just going to stick the bomb, aren't they? Probably buy again, actually. They get 2 casualties and a bomb plant, cash injection.
It's a possibility.
Oh, it's very safe.
I mean, money's not ideal for them, and I guess in logical sense, you have the pistol loss forced by Eco, then you get towards the rifle round first and foremost. That's probably what they're thinking about here.
It just shows that that they're not keen on maybe the high-risk kind of plays, and that might be something that we keep an eye out for over the course of this map, because there are times that you need to play that risk.
Well, we saw a lot of high-risk players over the course of Ancient, the rush tactics especially, when they just charged their way in towards the A site, and it didn't always work out for them. In this case, maybe a slight change of play style. Damage done to Henry to start things off, though, and this round expectedly should not go the way of the ENCE Academy side. They will try their hands at some sort of A-pop. Got smoke coming in, a flashbang also at the ready. Smoke off Connector. Try blind off Rolf if you can. Get that bomb down, or just fake it out entirely and counter-rotate back into the B side, but I'm sure they can hear this from Franzen.
Yeah, Potty and Milty are normally the 2 go-to guys when it comes to impact on the T-side. And over the course of Mirage, opening pick being found for a moment, but Hype could just play defensive out to Connector now. They don't really need to make too many sort of higher impact kind of duels. They can hang back and play defensive.
Flash over to allow Spook to peek. Get 1, 2, not quite 3. Not quite like it matters at the moment. Juicy's Deagle, though, has something to say. He's looking for a whole lot more. 1 rifle in the hands of Poddy, can try work with that out towards the short position. Juicy still hunting in from Connector control. M4 around the corner. Juicy gets tagged up. That bomb needs to make its way in towards the bomb site relatively soon. Either go down or get the bomb plant bonus at this point here for the T side. Juicy's going to finally fall. Poddy now making noise here, switching out that M4, trying to dive back through into the A side. Yeah, they're going to try to go for the after-time kill, but Spook is a little bit off position, so he's got to hold on to that angle, got to hold on to that kill. At least deny a bomb plant bonus for ENCE Academy. Take a 3-0.
And for 0-0 prospects, I think Hype is always a guy to make sure that you keep your focus on him on the CT side. A lot of movement, plays around Connector, into window, can bring the AWP to A to CT ticket. So you're always going to find that he's going to try and manipulate the read on where he's playing out from. I mean, our main man, Spook, this is actually his lowest rated map in the entire map pool, and that's probably just because we actually don't get to see prospects that frequently.
So they've been practicing how much that's going to turn up into the official matchup. Spook D does get Milty, so that's a start. Frag found. Focus their attention on the A hit. It's going to come in relatively quickly here from ENCE Academy. Server's going to get caught off in Connector, though. A 5-on-3, and they've yet to do a point of damage to the CTs.
Franzen's so defensive out towards Connector. I don't think a single kill is going to get found here. This is such a strong setup on A. They've even got a backstab coming in from T-Sport and Bobek.
Slowly but surely creeping up to position. Poddy doesn't know. He's got an inkling, a suspicion, as does Henu. Engagement looking to get found, but unable to get the kills that they require here. Now they're going to back their way into Bobek. Kill found easy. Quick burst to the head. And 1 man left to Poddy. At this point, what can you do from here? Done nothing in this round at all. And the confidence most certainly is there for the prospects. We saw this at the tail end of Ancient when they were really in their groove, when they were shutting down every single thing that ENCE Academy were doing. Finally, something goes his way, but it won't be the round.
At least the main team is finding success. 1-0 up against Saw in a best of 3 as we speak right now. Can't quite say the same for the Academy team. They're down 1. And they're down 0-5. Now, one thing that we can reflect on is slow starts, right? Seems to be an issue that's cropping up pretty much every day. Prospects were 5-0 up on the city side of Ancient. We're now looking at a 4-0 scoreline. You wonder how much more that can carry on, because when we look at the Young Ninja series, the round streaks were incredible from the beginning.
Nice. 4-0 start for Prospects. Very similar to Ancient. ENCE Academy had their first look in when it came to the 6th round, so with the money line being where it is, it seems like it would have to be the case. The AWP, of course, down to $100 to the save. 3
AKs on the city side. Feel like I've seen this before.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. I was like, yeah, that's a very familiar sight. Only less familiar than the 4 AKs and AWP combination. Which, well, that's a little bit less familiar. There's no warp on hype yet. Prospects. Nice nade to start things off, do initial damage towards Henu. AWP try find him on the jump phase, but he's been seen, so both sides back off.
And Mirage has been very tough for ENCE Academy on LAN. While they've been able to win 16-7 once, they've lost 14-16, 10-16, 12-16, and 7-16, winning only 1 out of 5 Mirages on LAN.
Trying to win their second now. It's very slow. Very carefully considered in this kind of a round, and indeed Franson will be able to find MistGames in the end. The early kill going away at the CT side, but very late into the round, Hype can follow suit against Henu out towards underpass. Meanwhile, the remaining Ts are going to make their way into the A side, but they're just getting ripped apart by each of these individual fights. Rolf Swoop with a couple of kills. Poddy can get one on the way out, but he's got to save again at this point. The money's just not there for him. The AWP is going to be more valuable to them when the rifles come out. He's getting hunted, though, so it's not even a guarantee he holds onto this weapon. He's going to be pressured from all sides. It's not looking good.
Yeah, he's completely sandwiched at this point. You've got players out in T-Spawn. You've got players on the other side of Palace. This would be almost a miracle if Poddy's able to hold on to the weapon.
Counter-terrorists win. And they come. Rolf caught siding. Just keeps it. Thank God they have the pillars there. That's what Prospects are saying to their own right, or ENCE Academy are saying to their own right. So it kind of balances out at this stage to get that AWP into the gun round, save it over for a couple of rounds in a row for ENCE. The rifles will feature the AKs across the entire T-side board. Did take one of the AKs out of the CT side, so that's a slight positive as well for what ENCE can take away from that eco round. But now they need to focus on the rounds themselves, need to get one on the board.
I mean, even MistGames was, what, 2-9 in the early stages of that first map. He's now 0-5. One of the impact players, one of their best LAN performers, is unfortunately having a tough time in the early sequences. At least there's a change-up. Server getting that opening entry down there from underpass, but look at the map control that Bobek is finding aggressive in the apartments.
Standard pressure. Saw Prospects doing it over on Ancient. Saw them doing it against Young Ninjas in the last series.
Bobek's going. Now you're going to start seeing the shift of a rotate back to A.
Slow push, you hear the footsteps. Slowly start to close them in here. Juwissi gets caught as he looks to the right place at the right time, clearing out apps, but B is under siege. Short has been left uncontested. The bomb could go down, or should go down. It's a case of that retake, though.
And Bobek's just trying to pull distraction, doing some further damage onto server, is 1 point of health, and now the bomb gets dropped in the middle of the sides.
Massive kill for Hype. Bobek gonna take that chance to lean in, try find his man, the Incendiary, forcing server out the way he can't afford to take a tick worth of damage. Seeing the AWP gun barrel, knows that he's out there. Bobek's seen. Server can dish out some damage though. Polly knows he might be in danger. Finally a swing, but Henu and Polly find the trays to a 2-on-2. We stand at evens. They're gonna get given the kills. Hype now, the last man standing as Rolf feeds himself to the AWP. Was that second player seen? 20 seconds, he might not need to be. He's gonna stall for time.
They're trying to employ a different slight angle. Henu's can't really peek here. They've got to get back to the bomb.
10 seconds. Henu crossing, engagement of the AK. Not quite found. Potty going to try to stick the plant. The AK swings back against Henu's part of things, and a spray is better for ENCE Academy as they take their opening round.
That's unfortunate because Prospects actually did so much right there, Jay. I don't know if you saw, but there was actually a slight body block out from Market. They tried to get the flash forward, and I think Hype ran into Rolf in that 2v2, and it meant they had to be stalled. It meant that they had to cancel. That's a great info play there from Bobek. Henu finds himself in such an advantageous position. And here it is, Potty doing well with the AWP. After he was detected, remember, he was seen from the apartments.
Similarities don't stop to the setups, Dwight. Don't stop to the AKs on the CT side. 5 rounds in a row to start things off for the Prospect side. 1 back to enter the first, or the second gun round rather. Spook, however, is going to engage miltzy first and foremost. Server's right out of the gate here into the apartments and out onto the B site. His MAC-10 could play sacrificial. He's trying to get at least this one little bit of damage. Bobek down to 15 HP, but does get the kill. Raw for the suit on Juicy, and this looks like a complete turnaround from the last round.
That's shocking. That really is, and sometimes you've got to be a little bit clear-cut, Jay. If you want to win a map, if you want to win a series, you can't afford to have a clutch situation to then follow up being decimated. And we saw that on Ancient. We even spoke about it in the end game, right? When we brought up a few of those rounds, that you have one tight round and instantly Prospects are just able to swing one where they're 4 players alive, 5 players alive, and that just rocks the confidence of a team completely.
You could hear him as well when they won that round. They were really getting into themselves once again. They were trying to hype themselves up off the back of that opening start, and now...
Yeah, that's not going to help much, is it?
It'll be silence on that side of the, on that side of the room. 6th on the board for Prospects.
I've got something for you, Jay. I know you like history.
Go for it.
The last time that 0-0 Prospects played Mirage on LAN was back in the Teleleague Spring 2022 finals with Spook, Jimbo, Lax, Adex, and VHW. That's how long we're talking since we've seen Prospects play Mirage on LAN.
That was the Norwegian team.
It was the Norwegian one that had a slight European edge, communicating in English with a Romanian AWPer. A very long time ago.
Counter-terrorists win.
And you want another thing, actually. If you want even more of a history, then a 12-3 half on their city side. Now, again, there's not really that much that you can use as chain logic because it's a completely different lineup, but it's what happened last time.
Could well be the exact same thing here and now. With the way this one's going, it definitely feels like it could be 12-3 or within that sort of region.
And even when we think about Prospects and their road to get here, they had, I would say, one of the toughest bracket runs in the closed qualifier out of any team possible. They had 9 Academy in the first round. Okay, maybe we can go past them. They had Big Academy in the quarterfinals. And at the time, we looked at that matchup and said, both teams deserve to be here. Both teams are incredibly strong, and it's unfortunate that one won't make it. Now, they ended up having a 16-14 on Vertigo and a 16-10 onto Overpass, a tough series to get them to LAN. And now they're here on LAN. They're looking even more comfortable than they were online.
It certainly looks more comfortable than the last outing against ENCE Academy. It was a couple of months ago, but we are talking about a 16-14 result that Prospects were able to take above this team for 8-7 in their CT half, so... This is already looking like he could get to 8 in the next 2 rounds, and with the way that ENCE playing, I wouldn't be doubtful of that being the reality of things.
And that's what, 1:35 roughly on the clock, and Rolf is already making an info play towards ramp. Now, he got spotted from the likes of Juicy, so he backs off, but it just shows in the city side that they're willing to make info plays. I mean, even the likes of Rolf is getting aggressive now in Palace.
Franson finds miltzy. He's going to extend so far forward, you're right. He could go all the way out towards spawn. Any footsteps to gain in this position?
They might give them A, to be honest. Play the man advantage and have the likes of Rolf deny the bomb or try and come in late from Palace. That works too.
At this point, that would be the very smart call to make, because if they do pull a rotate, if this is all just a ruse, the bomb is not out here towards Ramp and hold the defensive line. Hype does peek in and catch Juicy though. Looking for more against Polly. The adjustment's not quite there, but again, their insurance policy stands, and they've got another one. Franson also pushing forward towards mid. They have no idea what they're about to run into here. AWP standing, headshot angle, adjust towards the first, not towards the second, and now they know that that bomb's on its way towards the B site. And he's got to try and strike, got to try and get the kill on Bobek here, got to take him out of the defensive line. He knows that he's out there. Second teammate also inbound. HG's put towards damage being done. Server makes his way forward. Bobek in a jail. Henu doesn't check it. They're going to line up and get knocked down like dominoes. 7-1 on the Prospects board.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous CS right now there from Prospects. What do you say about that? Making info play Ramp, making info play Palace, making info play B Apartments. Like, it shows that they're so in the zone with what they want to achieve. Trigger discipline in a 3v2. Everything, Jay, right now on their city side is perfection.
I'm kind of lost for words, honestly. ENCE going from this brutal affair over on Ancient to their own home territory, and right now Prospects are just rolling them. Damage being done across the pistols. Rolf with one, Franson with another. Juicy, bomb dropped, not quite dropped. Actually, him and Poddy can return back favors. Spray is very awkward from Rolf. He does end up going down, but not before taking one player out of the fold. Poddy needs that firepower. Bobek at the edge of the smoke, though, finds him. Headshot gain. Yes, damage done for the CT side, but it is 8-1. They have the half.
And if I'm server, I'm spamming that tack button. I'm getting all 4 tacks done in this first half if you need to, because they're struggling really hard right now.
Need Whitey's support at this particular stage. Obviously a very experienced individual, has done very well with building up ENCE Academy and other academy squads in his tenure as a man that stands behind. He's called the tactical calls at this moment here for the ENCE side.
I mean, in saying that, I mean, we're looking at it. He's not speaking. So I wonder with this tack, is it more like a mental refresh rather than the coach applying something to the team? Is it the players themselves recognizing something else that we're not seeing? It might have to be something we ask later on.
Could well be the case. You know about those mental pauses that some teams like to take to just readjust themselves, realign their game plan. Not to talk about tactics per se, but just to figure out their mentality and improve it to get back into round 10 with a potential chance to try and steal their second round away, try and put Prospects on the back foot. Poddy with a kill. Franson goes down. That's a start for the T sideline. Spook held back in, connect to Hype. Does find Juicy, so it's a 4-on-4 situation for now. Server force back, Molotov's back in, will drive that player away. Spray's doing damage. Henu does come up with a decent kill. Rolf engaging Henu with his own part. 3-on-3 scenario.
And now look at Bobek aggressing out towards the apartment. Has to be brought back. They might not expect him to be here.
Burst through, Milts, he gets his shot back. Hype can respond. 2-on-2 situation. Again, we stand at evens. Again, the trade game has been this damn close. ENCE are gonna play the timer. They have a minute to work with. Poddy's warp is gonna benefit for that. Hype peeks him and goes down.
Poddy's done so well across this T side, but just hasn't been rewarded with the round victories. Rolf's now being heard. Server's got the Peekers advantage.
Doesn't check ladder, gives up a very easy kill. And now ENCE are feeling more alive than they have done in a very long time so far in this map up. Getting into this game, their second round once again. They've got a lot more work to do to try and make it competitive. They are still 8-2 down.
12 maps played and a positive 73 KD difference and a 1.24 rating is what Poddy was able to do in the last MistGames Heroes of Tomorrow event. And we know he's got what it takes. And now they've actually disrupted the economy where it's actually a bit of a crap buy here from Prospects.
Damage was compounding to their credit. This could be a great chance to swing towards their favor and start to build some of that ground back here. Spook on towards mid, trying to dish out nade damage to Mills. He doesn't do as much as they'd like to. Certainly looked like it should have been much more from my perspective. 73 HP though, ENCE are not complaining.
There's just so much movement across the board on this city line. You've got one of those M4s trying to create some damage out from top mid. You've got another one playing from top of connector. Franson and Hype can kind of play off one another.
Smokes in to press Hype, but Franson's 5-7 stands, ready to receive. Nade sent his general direction, takes some damage back. Server forced to vacate the connector control. They have got 4 players out here in total. Franson can strike against one man. Poddy caught. Juicy also caught. Now there's a rifle in hand. The AK picked up. There's one more player in Tetris. Henu can get one before Server and MistGames fall, and suddenly that man is all alone. ENCE have completely bottled round 11.
I think Henu needs to be going fishing for some round victories. This is a very uncomfortable position right now. 1v4 out in the open, player towards default, couple of players to the top of stairs and top connector. Prospects are getting closer and closer to that double-digit scoreline. And again, I think we're just seeing ENCE completely blown out of the water in the early game.
Well done, Dwayne. Well done. 9-2 to the board of the Prospects at this moment in time. It's this sequence that's just... Oh dear.
I mean, even the comms there.
Yeah, it's like Juicy just running out into the open, didn't even bother to... I mean, I know it was checking the site, obviously, but it's like, you know that he's out there. You must be able to... You must realize that he must be on the stairs in some capacity.
I think it's just the trouble they're facing with trading game has just not been there like it was on map 1.
Sometimes it's been great. We saw in the round before the last one that it was down to a 2 versus 2 thanks to ENCE's trading game of their own right, but a lot of the time it has been just 0-0 Prospects wrecking them with no real chance to get into the rounds themselves. Whitewash situation as Hype gets 2 on the AWP. Juicy and Server falling easy. Henu does find Hype in the end, does take that AWP out of the fold, but Rolf now hiding ahead of Dark. Has Franson as well. Ooh, does spot the man. MistGames goes falling elsewhere, so this round is still falling apart for the T-side line. Trades again coming in, and a couple of the AK still down by a man here. Bobek and Franson there to make sure that does not end up getting out of control. 10-2 for the Prospects. ENCE Academy. I don't know what to say anymore, Dweg.
Well, I might give you something. Individual stats from ENCE Academy on LAN in the last 12 months. MistGames averaging a 1.17 rating. Next player down is Poddy at 1.03. That's a massive difference, right, with LAN impact. MistGames went 13 and 22 on map 1 and now is 1 and 12. Their best LAN performer is nowhere to be seen in this best of 3.
And Franson continues bringing the thunder as the spook inbound from mid. Poddy can take one of those players back.
I feel for Poddy, man. He's been playing so well on this side. Just impacts, opening kills, trades, making rounds winnable. The 2 rounds that ENCE Academy won were off of the back of Poddy alone.
Doing all he can to pull ENCE out of the hole that they found themselves in. Got to start digging, lads. Finding your way to the other side. Bobek making his way in from mid, sees Henu. Henu completely unawares out towards that bench position. Juicy watching as Rolf continues jump facing Poddy's AWP. Set out towards the ticket booth CT entrance. The jump face from one CT just out of his periphery. Can't quite be seen.
And now Prospects have still got that AWP out from the jungle control. Juicy desperate for an entry. Just something to open up the bomb site.
AWP in. Checking out Tetris, Juicy has his eyes set as Hype's AWP stands by Bobek, trying to lean forward. 30 seconds on the clock. They're just in a standoff. The sheer presence of Prospects is causing ENCE to think twice. Juicy finally acts, but Bobek is so quick to respond, and that's why they were so hesitant to go for it. Now Poddy's got to go for a save because he's got no choice in the matter. That's his 3rd one of this game so far in the AWP. 11-2. He might even die after time. We've got Bobek leaning in closer. I think he'll just be okay. Or will he? Will he? Yes, he will.
Now, here's a conversation I want to open up, Jay. We've obviously had a few MistGame events. We had one, the first one that you went to. The second one we were there together, and now the closed qual. I do not think we have had a bigger threat in a MistGame event than Prospects right now. 16-4 on map 1, 16-4 on map 2 when it comes to the quarterfinal game. You now look at Ancient, 16 to 12, okay. It was slightly more competitive. You now go to ENCE's map pick, the home turf, and it's 11-2. They've been battering teams.
The thing is ENCE's map pick as well, by the way. Like, I expect to see this on something like an Ancient, for example.
On a map that prospects play very little of.
Yeah.
It's the second least played map in the pool, and they've got an insta-ban.
Well, Zippy was saying they were practicing it, so clearly they've been practicing it. MistGames trying to take that practice back away from them, though. Got France and stand up against Server. Jumped above the smoke, gives up the game, almost gives up his life. And MistGames caught on another jump phase as well. That's 2 in a row on the trot here for the ENCE Academy side. Rolf able to get one back, Hype involved, surrounded by T-side forces, does get caught off by that clock of Server. Bringing home a third for ENCE Academy. Prospects facing some resistance again, but with one more round to go in the half, the best they can do at the turn of the T-side is 4.
Yeah, sometimes, Jay, it doesn't matter how the rounds get one, it's just if the rounds do get one. If it means a couple of players have to be jumping mid-air and getting a headshot or two, well, so be it. For ENCE Academy, it's a third, but following up's been an issue. And now we've got to wonder, is following up going to be conceived going here into round 15? Because this is a very awkward buy once again for Prospects.
ENCE trying to keep themselves in the mentality. Everything they can at this stage. Prospects. Molotov sent their general direction. Hype going to get forced out of the way. 71 HP for the man. And the Server on 69 himself. Nice. Deagle of Spook still trying to tap forward from that ladder room position. Rolf looks for a close quarters engagement that will be won out by Henry this time. Starting advantage sits with ENCE here.
And not quickly adapting to the split A tactic, instead slowing it down. You've got a super late backstab coming through out here in the apartments. And if it gets timed right, you might have Bobek coming through from A main to try and drop the bomb.
Franson and Hype have got those kills. Neglected to mention the buy state of Prospects was not exactly fantastic. They have the FAMAS and M4 in. The Deagles standing on 2 others, and they've still been able to get those kills on those 2 rifles. 4 on 3 for them at the moment. And even Bobek all the way up towards mid, going to clear it all out. They must be aware it's going to be the A here with Potty caught off by Spook's Deagle's shot. Would have thought that would have been a kill for Bobek. Hype there to close out the last of Server. And it's a 12-3 half for the Prospects, something we were predicting at the early stages of the half itself, because that's how dominant they were looking. And for ENCE Academy, it might be another disappointing exit here.
And that's an embarrassing showing. I'll give them the sake of keeping Ancient competitive, but on your map pick, on a Mirage, that, take this, Jay, has been picked 17 times in the last 3 months in best of 3 history. The next one down after that is Overpass at 7. So Mirage gets played 10 times more as map picks on LAN, and you're giving us 3 rounds and a half? That's not good enough.
Absolutely not. I'm not even going to try and debate you. I'm not even going to try and find a silver lining, because really there is very little of it here.
And the positives just keep going to the way of the Swedes every damn time.
To carry on the dominant form, to carry on this position that they found themselves in, decimating Young Ninjas on day 1, decimating ENCE right here and now. A CT comeback required from the Finns to try stay alive here in Lofoten. Bobek has found Server first and foremost. Turn away the flashbang. Potty might find himself in a bit of an angle, but the flashbang keeps him blinded, so we can't get anything. And Bobek and Rolf just mow them all down. B-site has fallen, and so is the round.
And it looked like such a good setup for ENCE Academy. You have Server taking that first point of contact. Yes, you'd love him to get a fight, but you draw them in, you bait them forward. Prospects go, yeah, bang, we're hitting B instantly. And that flash, the timing there onto Potty, you feel for him, because it looked like he had the advantage, and instead he gets nothing.
Number 13. Unlucky for some. Certainly for ENCE right now. The USP of Juicy caught off. Hype with the kill. All 5 alive in the pistol for Prospects. The confidence. Just when you think it can't get any more confident for this team, they pull this out of the hat.
And nice entries from Bobek. Check this out. Bang.
Wow.
Instant taps. Flash assist coming through from Hype. CT's trying to rotate towards the backside corner very quickly. Force buy up now for ENCE Academy. Just hoping, praying. Can we get some rounds? Can we give ourselves some workability?
the answer to that question might be no, Dweg. There is no workability, there is no advantage, there is no way in for ENCE at this stage. There's got to be some finished magic here, I'll tell you that. Instead, it's slow, it's careful, it's calculated on the part of the prospects. ENCE just living on a prayer. They make their way in from mid-control. I sit on the A site.
A Spook working the ladder presence. BobX taking connector. There's a lot of map control to work with right now. Henu tries to get up to ladder and instead just takes a lot of damage in the process. Oh, gamble stack B. No, this is not the right call.
I think it might be the case with that little bit of misdirection, a little bit of information. MistGames, however, has caught a kill that might send things off. Juicy has missed an all-important headshot, but MistGames still stands with the double, looking for the triple as well. Poddy's now being tagged up. Forced out of the way. The Deagle standing high. Caught next MistGames with an all-important sequence of 4. And now Spook is all that remains. A lifeline may be gained now by ENCE here. Look to steal back the conversion and take away an all-important lifeline from the prospects.
What an incredible round from MistGames, man. That is an absolute ripper from the Deeg. 4 kills to come through from the backside of default. Have a look at some of these taps again. These are not easy kills whatsoever.
Beautiful. You mentioned MistGames as being a pivotal element for this team. Good time to step up. Now Spook's going to try and counteract here on the prospect side. Henry's having none of it though. Frag found to kick things off out that mid-control. Man down, player spotted in the apartments. Information gathering. Bobek, however, is going to get his kill. Server does get his jumping shot back to return. A 4-on-3 that favours ENCE here.
The Server could just play back passive now. Henry's not seeing anything out from underpass. Franson's hoping for some hyper-aggression. Rolf tries to walk out towards A, unsuccessful in doing so.
Yeah, 2v4. Should enable a 5th here for the ENCE Academy side. And again, an all-important lifeline, trying to turn it into a comeback. It's a very long way away from becoming one at this stage. The bomb gets dropped by Server. Franson goes out of the server, and Hype is left alone.
ENCE Academy, I mean, for the majority of this second half, it's going to be survival rounds, isn't it? If you start bringing in a comeback, you try and bring back the deficit, but it's large. It's extremely large. Hype, seeing if he can just get one more pick. Server up from the van position with the M4. Does lose the fight, so it is another player to drop.
19th kill for him right there, but unfortunately unable to make it 20. Twisty keeps control for the ENCE side. 3 rifles staying into the CT forces. And prospects hitting a small bump in the road for the time being. Eco set in for round 19. So ENCE should be up to 6. When the guns come out for the prospect, that's where they can really start to turn up the heat, because the key thing to remember is that even if they do end up losing a couple of eco rounds and a number of these like streaky sort of positions for ENCE Academy to get like an eco or 2, when the rifles come out, all they need to do is win 1 here, 1 there, and then they can grind their way back into that final 16th. Only 3 to make up for them. Now they'll try their hand at the B hit here very quickly. Jump face from Server, seen them, and they cancel.
ENCE Academy have played 5 best-of-3s, including this one today, on LAN in the last 12 months, Jay, winning a single one of them, and the team that they beat was an unranked team on HLTV in a Finnish event.
Minute on the clock, leading in. M4 stands, USC with 1 and 2. Can't quite land the 30, runs out of ammo. AK in for MistGames, going to try and adjust towards that, get himself his own double, drop the bomb. Hype will not walk any further than that either. So yes, easy pickings against the basic pistols with Eco. And now we go to the guns for prospects.
And that's where the scary factor comes through. A bit of an audience watching on. I bet Big Jimmy's not too happy with what he's witnessing right now from the ENCE Academy side.
You were saying earlier in your interview that he was definitely supporting the ENCE.
He was.
The Finnish,
yeah.
The Finnish massive. It's not looking good at the moment.
They need your support, that's for sure.
They've got plenty of it right now out there. 7 rounds to make up for ENCE Academy. ENCE again could set them back massively right here for the prospects. They're going to go very quickly into that A side. Juicy, Nays being sent out towards the stairs angle. They actually catch a lot of damage, and Henu can assist with the kill. Spook goes down. Effective Henu with a double up. Miltsy not even required. He does get involved eventually. Turn on for the double. And finally, ENCE looking alive.
There we go. That's what we're looking for. A couple of nice multi-frags, and the lads will be happy about that one. That's an excellent round coming out from ENCE Academy. It started off with Henu towards mid. It continues with Miltsy up there from top of connector towards that stairs position. And that's a flawless round. That might be one of the best rounds I've seen from ENCE Academy all series so far.
All important. 13-7. The pistols out, the Deagles, the Tech-9s, the Glock in for hype. AWP, the AKs, the HGs being sent in by Tuisi, immediately ready for the pistols to make their way into the A side of the fast hit inbound from the prospects. It looks to be a shutdown from these CT players. 2 for 1 for now. Franson with one decent trade to try to get access to the bomb site. Might see a plant back here as Poddy can't create his orb shots. The Incendiary is coming back towards Franson, will burn him to 1 HP, and finally a HG will take him down. Bolek seeing the edge of the smoke, Miltsy coursing him back in towards CT. He must know that both these players are out here, but Server caught switching out to his knife. An angle, a window opened up by the prospects here as Miltsy challenges them both and mows them both down, keeping control for ENCE.
Yeah, slowly and surely, Miltsy's getting more impact. Round by round, we're seeing these multi-frags. Yes, it was only up against an anti-eco, but you consider the idea that there was a pathway up towards market and into B. That could have been a very different round if Miltsy's not able to deny that. Prospects are yet to be able to get off 13. ENCE Academy keep adding rounds to the tally.
5 more to go. Starting to get within a manageable distance of the leaders. AKs and AWP, the M4s, of course, brought in with the 1 AK saved on Miltsy's part of the CT side basis. Rifles posted, the scopes are in. They're ready for some sort of mid-aggression from the CT side, but ENCE are not quite biting. They are far forward enough to defend, but not to give up a kill.
Franson received quite a bit of utility deep there in the apartments, but not a massive amount to do some chip damage. You've got Miltsy looking down to underpass, Henu jiggle peeking to top mid, and Poddy with the AWP from short. This is a strong mid crossfire in which they're trying to bait them forward.
Flashes over towards that B site, drawing Poddy's attention away. They will start the rotation back in towards the site itself. Connecting, he'll look to hold from. Supposed to come out towards the... Oh my god, Miltsy's going straight aggressive. He gets 1 kill, but Spook takes him right back.
And now you've got a player towards underpass. That could actually put quite a bit of pressure down here towards connector. Henry's going to try and get onto the contact while Franson moves into position.
Runs away, thinking it might be completely clear, running right into the trap. Well bait and switch setup there from the ENCE Academy boys. Smokes in towards short, though. They're trying to see if they can try and counteract it with a B hit. They've got Rolf. Sending away, Henu turned away from is actually they go towards the A site instead. Quick swing, sees 2. Bobek takes it back to a 3-on-3. Juisi now pressured with no backup, quick to rotate. Back at dark, a lot of work to do. Spook seen the spray, indeed drops that bomb for now. 2 players taking damage and Bobek can trade back on Juisi's part. 12 seconds, Poddy knows where they're at. Lands on the first, bomb denied by his presence alone, and the bomb carrier gets a bit aggressive. Poddy will let that go down, will he? No! He'll swing back for the denial, and ENCE are really getting back into this game now. Dwayne, 4 more to go.
And Poddy, again, highly impactful round from him. Plays defensive, peeks out on the contact as they run in from Palace, and then realizes bomb plant's going down. I could just try and see if I can deny and make sure we're not getting a situation in which we're giving up individual jewels. Times it well, disallows the extra cash injection. And Poddy, I mean, he's been on it since the first round, really, here on Mirage. First half and second half, he's been very consistent with impact.
Now his teammates are starting to form around him. Now he's really being allowed to thrive. No bomb plant bonus for prospects, so no significant bites. Upgrade pistols and the half invest. Looking to pop flash their way in from the apartments and straight out towards that B site. Caught off by aim punch damage. Henu with 2, can't quite make it 3. That's what Server's there for, though. Finds Rolf, USP's pulled out. Spook can get 1 trade back. The HG sent towards him as both players drop out of the apartments into the bomb site. Spook still gets a double up here. Tech 9 and AWP up close and personal. Might get dangerous to Poddy. He does find Spook, though. Look for Hype, who gets a trade back. It's an expensive round here for the CT side, but ultimately one that should go their way as Juicy closes, and it's 10 to the board.
ENCE Academy, you're starting to hear them get slightly louder. They realise that they're in a position of driving this comeback forward. They're putting pressure onto the favourites. And for prospects, some struggles to close in these rifle rounds. And this is where they take a tactical. Because prospects know they're still in prime position. They're still in a good position, even though they've given ENCE a way in.
Right time to call one in. Damn, they stole this round as well with how well Spook was playing. You talk about the guys at the top of the board, the guys doing the impact for ENCE Academy. I mean, he's been on it for this entire series so far. He's not top of the board right now for prospects, but his impact cannot be understated. ENCE. Primed and ready. With the gun buy, with the AWP on Poddy, with the M4 as standard. No saved AKs as of yet. Molly sent in towards the mid control. The smoke's in the way. Juicy holds. At dark again.
And MistGames just jiggle peeking down here from the top of stairs position. Juicy down from under Balk. Prospects. They've slowed down their defaults massively over the course of the last handful of rounds. Hype is setting up a deep smoke out there towards the jungle side. It could be a pop.
Poddy with a frag, Bobek down. Hype bringing the Molotov. Juicy out of position. He needs to win this fight. Might burn, actually. He's found a corner to play with. Puts that smoke back anyway. Poddy's AWP, however, can strike as Hype gets caught up trying to look towards that dark angle. He goes falling for it. Meanwhile, at jail, Server stands his ground, gets that first, sees that second, but Spook can take him back. Can just stick in the bomb plant as well, I imagine. Franson finding MistGames elsewhere, throwing things off kilter for the CT side. He's on 4 HP, though, so it mostly rests on Spook to try and hold this round together. If he goes down to Henu, it will be over.
At least they know that Spook's alone. Oh, gun barrel's being seen. Spook can pre-aim him around the corner. This is so winnable now.
Bomb plant for short, 2-on-2. Backstabs not inbound for the CT side. They're coming in directly from market. Poddy sees him, doesn't hit the shot though. Spook is still in play. Franson, the insurance policy to ensure that there is nothing coming into the apartments. It all rests on this Swede on the center of the site to do the majority of the heavy lifting. Franson might prod for info, but Spook gets taken down anyway, and now it all rests on Franson to try and get this 14th here. He knows the bomb's planted. Indeed he does, but he's going for the kills. He sees them both, and now he's got to put that volley back right here. Juicy onto the defuse. There's no smoke. Poddy can get the kill, but Franson gets it, and that's enough. That's all you need for 14.
Poddy got 2 opening kills. 2 opening kills from CT. That's a 5v3 from their AWP, Jay, and they're not closing the round down. Oh, that's frustrating. That's got to hurt for ENCE Academy. They had so much to work with. And it just, pick by pick, starts going apart. There's that first one onto Bobek. Here's that second one there onto Hype. Server gets the pick out from bench. It's a 5v2. Those are rounds you can't be losing, Jay. That's the bottom line.
7 in a row, what ENCE had. Now that streak is broken. Now we're up to 14. Now prospects will try their final push in to the map and series win. 4 rounds to try and make it back here for ENCE. And look at how quick prospects are making their way up to the site. Server, M4, holds against the first. Franson can take one back. He doesn't swing back to try and get that trade. Hype allowed a window of a chance to get Server. Spook in it short, catches MistGames on the reload, and it's a 4-on-2. 1 good round is all it takes to break the backs of ENCE as they escape Juicy's casualty, leaving Poddy to save once again.
Poddy just got no option, even gets hunted. Money's still okay for the majority of players, but prospects just coming in to where it matters most, of closing it down. Yes, they gave ENCE Academy a tasty streak, but now it's 5 in a row needed for the Finns to make it to overtime. Franson and Hype, that vertical crossfire was lovely.
That's the gorgeous CS we've seen from Prospects so far this week. Continuing to show, continuing to keep ENCE down in the dumps. M4's pushing in mid, flash blinded, Miltzy's a dead man. 4 more picks to go as even Poddy suffers to the aim punch. 31 HP, that AWP in a weakened position. The Molotov forcing out the boost here over on the shorts, Cinder Blocks. Slowing things down for now.
Oh, Spook might have this. Boost up. Does he see Henu? Oh, the timing on this. He gets back out to ladder. He heard them drop down.
Must be at least 2 players. Jewis is caught off guard. No one was watching Palace. 5 on 3, Poddy again. Trying to be the difference maker, trying to get them back into this round and back into this matchup. Server's being challenged by Spook, and the headshot comes through easy. 2 left at CT of the CTs to find the retake and keep ENCE in the tournament. M4, first man forward, the AWP, trying to look out wide. Bobak, first port of call behind the Tetris position. Looking in. Was connect. Headshot gained. Poddy alone. 1 more pick to his name. So many more to find. It's just too difficult. 16 to 10. The Prospects have done it again, taking the distance against ENCE, but ultimately going 2-0 into the grand finals.
And for 0-0 Prospects, they are attending their first ever international LAN, and they have gone back-to-back in series without dropping a map. That's class, that's quality, and that's closing when it matters most.
We were talking about it all week, Blake, so far. Who can be the team that takes their online performance and turns it into LAN success? Right now, that is the Prospects. For ENCE, it's got to hurt so much here. Didn't even get to second place this time, mate.
No, they didn't, and in all honesty there from ENCE, that map was lost in the first half. Yes, there was a very good streak in that second half, but when you're coming back from 3-12, you can't afford to have mistakes. And mistakes is like dropping a 5v2 advantage kind of round. You lose that, you're done.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's just, the writing was on the wall, but that comeback seemed like it was so proficient. You're like, oh, maybe they might be able to do it. Maybe they might be able to pull it off, but that just didn't happen, man. It did not happen at all in this particular case, so that is the way the cookie crumbles. Another successful series for the 0-0 Prospects. And I mean, what more can you say other than that, Josh?
Yeah, there's not much to add. I think you look at the entire situation and think 2-0, 2-0. What's going to happen? Are we ever going to see a map being dropped? Spook, I think we're going to have to ask you, mate. 2-0s back-to-back. Got to be happy with that.
Yeah, feels good. Solid gameplay from us. Was a bit shaky on Mirage and Ancient, but we closed it out, so it's fine.
I mean, you guys played lights out in certain rounds. Like, you guys were just absolutely stellar in certain capacities. I saw some very big moments where ENCE would like go for a rush, and you guys just shut it down. You didn't allow them any room to breathe in that capacity. And I just wanted to know, like, how much of their game plan did you understand coming into this matchup? Because to me, it felt like you had the perfect reads.
Yeah, on the CT side of Mirage, they basically did what we checked on the demos. So we had a good understanding of how they played.
And I want to touch on that first half as well, because obviously you guys don't play much Mirage. It's the least played map in the pool outside of the Instaban of Nuke. So when you come into a map that you don't play, even if you are well prepped, is it still a bit of nerves on how you want to play because you actually haven't had much game time on it?
Yeah, of course, it's always nervy to play a map you don't play as good as us on team. But we got a solid start, so...
Yeah, a solid start is saying the least right there. It was a 12-3 half. Like, I don't think I expected that to come through from them. I thought their home map would have been a bit more proficient in the first half. Like, I don't know if you over-prepared or anything like that, but like, were you expecting it to be that kind of scoreline after the T side?
If our game plan was right and they played as they did before, then we expected it.
Wow. Damn near was the 16-5 the Zippy said as well between the pre-match. He got him on between maps and he was like, yeah, 16-5, it'll be good, it'll be easy. You almost got that with the way the half scoreline was going. But listen, there was one particular moment that Dwight wanted to talk about here, and I think it was the 2v5 round at the very tail end of the map up. So we're actually going to bring this up on screen for you to sort of talk us through a little bit about what happened in this matchup, because this round really should have been ENCE's, but this was the start of your final push towards the end.
Yeah.
So what do we have, Spook? So obviously it came down into a situation where you lost a couple of opening picks. It comes down into a very awkward situation. Hype gets caught. Potty gets 2 kills out from CT. What's the mid-round call in this scenario?
Basically, it's to abuse the rotations. And you see we have the bomb in the BL, so basically when we get that frag, we know B is clear, obviously.
Yeah, and just to add as well, like France is mid, so you've got to feel like, do you need to make a play there because you're by yourself?
I feel like I should play for myself, play time, do whatever I need to do. As soon as I get this kill, we knew where the other 2 was, so I could just plant it and play time for France to play the clutch.
And I think what we noticed as well on the stream, Jay, was that these guys were even hesitant that there was a backstab coming through from window. What they don't know is Franson's obviously joined you out to the apartments. Now, in a 2v2, what are the comms like in this late round situation?
It's basically the other guys telling me where Franson is and what they need to do. Like basically play time in this scenario.
Yeah, and I think we see this exactly from Franson. He's got a molly, ends up trying to fight out in the open, no smoke for the CT, so Juicy ends up burning, just jiggling down to make sure that he's not being pre-aimed. And I think a round like that speaks volumes to your team, that you're never out of the round. It's never a far-gone conclusion, because it's got to be difficult to work a 2v5.
Yeah, but we had pretty good positions in that 2v5, so it was definitely doable.
Well, another 2-0 for you guys. You thrashed Young Ninjas. You almost thrashed the ENCE Academy. They allowed a little bit back in terms of the comeback, but ultimately, you guys are through in 4 maps and now in the grand finals. Like, for a team that I don't think has been at an international LAN before, right? Like, that's got to be such a big deal for you guys.
Yeah, feels solid to be able to 2-0 everybody. Hopefully we can do it in the next game as well.
He's too humble, Dwight. He's just too humble. Just like, you've done all this great work, and it's like, yeah, it's good to be here. It's good to be in the finals. But I'm just, again, like, I can't issue congratulations enough, because I think that was such a solid series, Dwight.
Yeah, I mean, even on your city sides, one thing I was noticing on both Ancient and Mirage, just a lot of movement with you guys, like mid-round, always making info plays. I think in the first 5 or 6 rounds of city side, there was one of those rounds where I think it was Rolf went aggro A main, then went back up to Palace, and then Bobek went aggro into the B apartments, and then you had an info play out towards mid. And I think we're just noticing on the CT side, a lot of movement, always making info plays. Is that the kind of style that you try and bring to prospects?
Yeah, we trying to play, as we call it, a little bit extreme. But it's definitely something we're working on to be able to perfect, if you put it like that.
Awesome. Well, you guys had a stellar series, a stellar matchup, and, well, I guess now's the time to reveal who was the MVP. For my pick, it was personally Spook, only because he's sitting here. But Dwight, obviously, you have the honours of deciding who that's going to be. So tell me, who is the MVP of this matchup?
Yeah, I was really impressed with Bobek, and I think when you consider some of the roles that he plays on CT side, he stepped up massively. He had some really important rounds out towards that B side Mirage, and also just on T side, created a lot of space, was very keen for you guys, I think, especially on Ancient when it came to some of those entries and being able to open up those pathways. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that. With Bob is on fire, there's like nothing you can do. He takes over the game alone, so.
Yeah, there you go.
I've got a very important question for you, by the way. Bobek or BobXD?
I vote for Bobek.
We're never going to know.
Say that at the bar. Like, come on. Why would you do this to me, bro? I made a whole big thing about it. It's BobXD, but no. Oh, man.
It's my personal favourite.
Pro players are the worst, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely. Well, congratulations on your victories.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate it. We'll see you in the grand finals, and we'll see you in tomorrow's proceedings. So take a look at the bracket so far and see how we stand now that the 0-0 prospects have eliminated ENCE Academy and sent themselves into the grand finals. Dweig, again, such a stellar performance in that sort of sense. The 2-0, effective, efficient, down to just a fine margin in that sense with the way that the scoreline ended up. But ultimately, these guys couldn't be in a more confident position, in my eyes, to be in the grand finals.
Yeah, it's very true. And I think it opens up the horizon to realizing for prospects, this is now 3 best-of-3s on LAN, 1 in a row. You think back to when they beat Little Mix, beating Young Ninjas. Now they've beaten Young Ninjas again. Now they've beaten ENCE Academy. That goes from 3 games to now 4 games. And when you look at some of the series, there were some more one-sided affairs. There were some very convincing results. 0-0 prospects are a massive threat. And I think if you're Astralis Talent and if you're Masonic, you've got to look at that semi-final thing. This is going to be a tough ask. The grand final, it's another beast.
I think any team that goes 4-0 in their 2 best-of-3 series is to get to the finals is a massive threat. And we did sort of kind of expect this to a certain capacity. Obviously, we had them as our secondary favourites, now de facto favourites. But even before the event, we were saying this is a very tight field. This is a very, very, this is a very sort of like, you know, there's only this much in it.
Yeah.
It's not like this, where it was with Astralis before when they were on their hot streak of form with all techs and what have you. Like, it was really this tight. I don't think it's that tight anymore. I think prospects right now are making a serious case for them being the significant favourites in our tournament.
Yeah, I'll join you on that one, honestly. I think when you perform like that on LAN, you have to almost put past what you thought previously, right? What you thought about maybe the events coming up into this or any prior thoughts to the event. When you show up on LAN results speak for themselves. And I think for prospects, they've done that in this event so far.
Well, you got one more round to show us, Dwayne, as what I'm being told. So let's take a look at this one and see. This was the 14-10. This is when they got to match point. Talk to me through this.
Yeah, so this is obviously the round just after they won that massive 2v5. So you think about the entire situation. They're committing themselves with Bobek going super aggro out here from the B apartment. You've got the flashes around the corner. Server playing very deep. You've got Henu playing out from the short control. It was that vertical crossfire. Notice how Hype didn't leave the apartments, didn't drop down with the rest of the team, and then Spook, obviously the late lurk that was coming through from that short control. As soon as he gets that kill onto Milty, that's the job done. But I was just really impressed in that round that Hype stayed in the apartments to wait for that reposition, wait for that rotation to come out, and then even for Potty, man, can't even hold on to the NWP, can't even bring it forward into the next round. And I think that just shows some prospects where we've seen it not once, not twice, but so frequently that they have a tight round and they follow up with an absolute banger, one that just clears them of the server.
And banger after banger at this stage as well. Again, this is a team that I'm rating as my heavy favourites. I think they're going to win the whole tournament now. They've proven so much in such a short space of time. And for me, again, I just can't praise them enough, Dwayne. So that's what we'll have to see, whether they can continue that run of form in the grand finals on Saturday. However, for tomorrow, we have one more matchup in the semi-finals for you, the Danish derby, as Masonic look to take on the Astralis Talent side. He's licking his lips, he's rubbing his hands because he knows how down to the wire that one's going to be. If it's anything like today, it will be an absolute banger. We'll see you back here tomorrow for even more of the Heroes of Lofoten.